Roll call and verification of quorum. Vice Chair Sandlin.
Senator Lazo. Senator Herrera.
Present.
Senator Trainer. Senator Neva Cruzat.
Present.
Chair Kana.
Present.
Senator D-Leg Morissette.
Present.
Chair Temple.
Present.
Chair Vaughan.
Present.
Senator Polera of CCIE.
Present.
Senator or Vice Chair Kringle.
Present.
Chair Daedalus.
Present.
Sergeant at Arms DeCara.
Present.
Vice Chair Butler.
Present.
Chair Campbell.
Present.
Senator Lazier. Vice Chair Fintel.
Present.
Chair Hamid.
Present.
Senator Rose. Absent. Senator Whitson.
Here.
Senator Yera. Present. Senator Quiroga.
Present.
Chair Carter.
Present.
Senator Brown. Chair Cimello.
Present.
Senator Humayun.
Present.
Senator Nadella.
Present.
Chair Patel.
Present.
Chair Yalamanchili. Senator Luthra. Senator Acosta. Chair Borges. Senator Hashmi.
Present.
Vice Chair Duke.
Present.
Speaker Holmes.
Present.
Senator Donahue.
Present.
Senator Costas.
Present.
Senator Lacasse.
Present.
Vice Chair Polera.
Present.
Senator Federico.
Present.
ELA Pullman. Or ILA Pullman.
Present.
ELA Richmond.
Present.
I'm here. Senator Vasquez.
Present.
Senator Kairos Rivera. Pro Temp DeMarla.
Here.
And Jason Mattal.
Present.
With a count of 36 out of 46, quorum is verified.
Thank you. All right, approval of the minutes. Take a look at last meeting's minutes. Temple.
Move to approve last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, those minutes stand approved. Take a look at today's agenda. And with that, I'll take a motion. Temple.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Senator Lazier.
Present and voting.
So noted at 7:17 p.m. Open forum. Are there any non-senators wishing to speak? All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 20 minutes for open forum, so you each will get 5 minutes. You can go ahead and go in. I'll do just in order going down. So you can go ahead, Lax.
Hello. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a break from standard form, and I'm going to be reading a prepared statement by a good friend of mine, Amanda Hurst, who unfortunately could not be here with us this evening. She's fine, just in Washington. Good evening. I apologize that I could not speak to you in person, but would like to speak against Internal Bill 5501. This bill would give additional authority to the Sergeant at Arms, which is an appointed, unconfirmed position. In addition to giving authority to remove individuals deemed disruptive by the chair or the chamber, which is not something a student should be able to do in a university-owned building, it would also allow the Senate President pro tempore to delegate other responsibilities to the sergeant. This would be against Statute 304.6, clarifying that the only people that President pro tempore is able to delegate responsibility to are their two deputies. To clarify, I am all for preserving decorum during meetings. However, this is already being done by the Senate President as well as the Senate Chamber at large. To deputize someone who is sitting in an unconfirmed position is concerning, and I urge you to vote against this legislation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please clap for all our guests. Thank you. Brigad, you have 5 minutes when you're ready. Welcome back.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ragad Araj, also Brigad. Some of you may know me as the previous Director of Student Affairs, but today I come to speak to you as a Palestinian American who was disheartened by the current news and the stance that University of Central Florida has taken on it. I'm not here to change anyone's opinion or try to convince you of anything. I'm just going to give you the facts and the history of my country. After a very tragic event that happened in 1945, Britain felt that it had the right to give refuge to those people in Palestine. Now, Palestine opened their land with open arms because that's what we do when refugees come to your shore. However, as the years passed, they were kicked out of their houses and actually demanded, to leave their country and seek asylum somewhere because it's no longer their land. Now, to start the story, it's important to get the context of it because every hero, like Harry Potter, would be a villain if we start the story from when he killed Voldemort. So context really matters here. And when the current events happened, everything was taken off context. Now, Palestine and Israel and many, many countries have been fighting for peace treaties for 75 years. Now, the United Nations, international organizations, all set certain laws that everyone should abide with. However, the years have passed. Palestinians were continued to leave their houses under guns and violence, and people did not interfere. War crimes were committed, people talked against them, no one interfered. Now, you don't hear about that in the news. You don't hear about the daily massacres that happen in Gaza or the multitude of human rights that get violated to the Palestinians on a daily basis, whether it be the West Bank or in Gaza. However, when Palestine decides to fight back after years of trying to fight this peacefully, news outlets found the time of their day to cover it. Now, when it first started, and there was a huge war called Nakba War, a lot of people sought refuge in a place now called Gaza Strip. Now, in the last 17 years, this strip of land had become the largest open-air prison to exist, with more than 2.2 million individuals living there. Everything they had access to, had to be approved by another authority. Now, currently, there are sitting ducks. This open prison had become forgot what it's called. So this open prison had become a place for them to sit and die slowly. They no longer have access to water, to food, to fuel, to electricity, and no way to leave. Now, more than 1 million of these individuals are children. And these children have slowly accepted that their death is coming.
1 minute remaining.
So all of these children are innocent, with only the fault of being born on the opposite side of the wall. And I really hope that this is not the end of the story for them. Thank you.
All right, who's next?
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm with the Palestinian Student Association. I am the president, and I would just like
There you go. Thank you. I would just like to make sure and bring up the topic as a Palestinian, the email that was sent out by our UCF president on October 10th. It was quite disheartening to see that he completely disregarded Palestinians and the attacks that are happening in Palestine. Many innocent lives were taken these past couple of days and throughout the years. Our families have been impacted as well. As Arab American and especially as a Palestinian, our voices were not heard, and the president of such a diverse university should have mentioned us as well. University of Central Florida is showing empathy and sympathy to anyone affected by this conflict except Palestinians. Palestinian students and students with Palestinian ties are expected to go about their everyday lives, attend classes, and take tests without even any acknowledgement from their universities. So we request an email and a recognition of our suffering to be sent out to recognize and sympathize with the Palestinian community here on campus. Thank you.
Whoever's next. Who would like to speak? Seeing none? Okay. Thank you for your time and your words to our body. We really appreciate it. All right. Announcements from the student body president, President Greenaway.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Just some quick updates from me. This week, the Faculty Senate Chair, Steve King, joined us at our weekly cabinet meeting and discussed the importance of the student role on some of these Faculty Senate committees. It was great insight, and he assured us that the student voice is necessary and needed. Additionally, the Academic Affairs Coordinator and I had a meeting with the UCF bookstore, specifically on how to ensure that transfer students know specifically how to obtain their materials. We talked about the First Day program where there's only a week to claim that. So ensuring and getting the word out to all students, but specifically transfer students, to ensure that they are able to get their materials at a discounted cost. And finally, AG Moore and I met with EC leadership, so the supervisor and assistant supervisor, just to discuss their plans for the year and how we can support them. And then I kind of just wanted to end and say, given the current climate of the world right now, please make sure you are checking in on your friends, your peers. UCF has many resources available to them. We have counseling, psychological services, student care services. So just please make sure to be checking in on each other. And that's all from me.
Are there any questions for President Greenaway? Seeing none, thank you. Announcements from the student body Vice President Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great week. Our cabinet this week did the self-defense class with UCF PD called Mighty Knights. I also had this success steering committee with Speaker Holmes as well. So that was one of the faculty senate meetings, and we talked about different ways to improve student success with Senior Vice President Paul DeSalle. And lastly, next week, we will be having our at-speed meeting, which will occur October 17th at 2 p.m. The place will to be determined.
Are there any questions for Vice President Smith? Brown?
Sorry, this is President voting.
Oh, so noted at 7:28 p.m. Any questions for Vice President Smith? Seeing none, thank you. Comptroller's report, Comptroller Kane.
Hello, everyone. All right, so the CRT balance is $396,728.29. Reversions 2.16%, and FAO balance is $206,104.69. Reversions 0.0%.
Are there any questions regarding the Comptroller's report? Seeing none, thank you. Attorney General's report, AG Moore.
Hi, everyone. I don't have much of a report today, but if you have any questions regarding the Sergeant at Arms bill, I'm willing to take questions right now. I unfortunately cannot say the entire Senate meeting. I also want to say that this bill is not expanding the powers of the Sergeant at Arms. It's actually, slowing them down. Instead of in our normal statutes where he can just remove someone for being disruptive, there's actually a tier system now in place where you would get a warning first. So it is really slowing down, I would say, the powers of the Sergeant at Arms. Any questions for me, I'll gladly take.
Are there any questions regarding the AG sponsorship on the internal bill? I'll see President voting in a second. Kringle.
I just want to check with other open or statements made earlier. Are there any statements or titles that you are aware of that does contradict with?
No, I'm not. I know there's some concern about the penal system. If that goes through and there's a non-compliance somehow somewhere, that would still be handled with the normal way a non-compliance would be handled. And same with all the other processes within this bill. Any way those processes normally go procedurally, that's how it would go with the Sergeant at Arms as well.
Any other questions? Campbell.
Yeah, so the speaker in open forum specifically mentioned statute 304-6. Can I ask what specifically that statute is, because I don't remember it off the top of my head, and why that could possibly contradict with this new bill?
So that statute is the duties and powers of the Senate President pro temp. It says Senate President pro temp shall sign student organizations. And then under that, it says the Sergeant at Arms shall serve a term in congruence with their Senate President pro tempore. These two roles are connected as one. So in all of the powers that have been listed in this bill are still the same powers all the powers in the statutes are the same that's in the bill. It's just more highlighted and it's clarified. So now this is an actual role. This isn't just us making a Sergeant at Arms position. This is an actual role with integrity.
Are there any other questions regarding the AG's report? Seeing none. Rose.
Present voting.
So noted at 7:32 p.m. Thank you. Cabinet Forum. None. Announcements from the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Silva or Andrew.
Hi, Senate. So Elizabeth apologizes for not being here, so I'm giving her announcements on her behalf. So hi, Senate. So just a few announcements. Leadership will be traveling to UF for the day on Monday to meet with the UFSG Chief Justice. Candy with the Council is on Wednesday, October 18th from 2 to 4 p.m. in the atrium. So please come out and show out, especially the SGLCers in the back. And then we, Dr. Lopez and Dr. Rubrera from the Modern Language Department will be attending our next President Committee meeting next Tuesday to further discuss our translation project, which is essentially translating our forms on NIConnect to a Spanish, since we are a Hispanic serving institution.
All right. Are there any questions for Justice Collazo? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, Chair McClellan.
Good evening, Senate. I hope you all have had a good week so far. Yesterday, we had an informative meeting where admin came and provided us with budget numbers, which was good because they honored their commitment that they made to the previous budget committee to get those numbers in earlier than last year. So we are happy for that. And tomorrow we will have our official meeting.
Are there any questions for Chair McClellan? Seeing none, thank you. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Senate President. Hi, everyone. Senate retreat is not tomorrow, but Saturday from 9 to 12 p.m., which I will be giving you breakfast, and on Sunday, 1 to 5 p.m., which we will be giving you lunch. I don't even remember. Yeah, we'll be giving you lunch. So food for those who completed the RSVP form last Thursday are the ones who will be accounted for regarding food. For the individuals who cannot have animal products, animal byproducts, and the individual who's like allergic to starch, I will be personally purchasing your lunches. So if you can reach out to me and let me know what you prefer, please let me know. I will be doing that. Senate leadership, your one pager is due on Friday. If you will not be attending, your vice chair will be expected to present to senators with or without your one pager. So do not be that person without the one pager. And lastly, decorum. I want to talk about decorum from last meeting. I'm not going to harp on things because I'm not an individual who does that. However, I will address that. I expect you to act just as if our administration was in the back, i.e., Dr. Frame, President Cartwright, individuals like that, because Akila and I meet with Dr. Frame monthly. She sees what goes on, and administration may not sit in this room, but they know exactly what is said and what is done in this room, and it speaks to our reputation. So I will continue decorum, and I am just letting you know that there are expectations in which you have to pretend like they are sitting in the back because you are being watched at all times. Additionally, we are live streamed on YouTube where other colleges can see exactly what we discuss and how we act. Our reputation as student government is very important to not only myself, but it is important to Brandon and is important to Lizzie Bett. They don't just see it as sometimes just the legislative branch, just the executive branch. They see it as student government as a whole, and I expect you to conduct yourselves as such. On a lighter note, Faculty Senate. So I attended Faculty Senate today. It was very, very amazing. What made me smile was the fact that Dean Barry was talking about research opportunities for students, and that's something that was on one of the proposals during our dean meeting. So I was very, very happy to hear that deans are actually listening and they are very receptive. Faculty Senate is a very important body because they make huge decisions for our university. And I want to just give yourselves as well a round of applause for how you conducted yourself during those meetings. It's just very important. And honestly, it's just showing me how you get what you put in, honestly. And you guys are getting what you are putting in. And I really appreciate all the hard work for those who show up, for those who filled out their proposals. And I know we're busy students, but sometimes just being there is what matters. So thank you. Lastly, this individual wasn't here last meeting for the Senator of the Month, and that is Chair DeCara. And I just want to state that this is given in recognition of Chair DeCara's exceptional dedication and tireless efforts in organizing and leading initiatives such as HSI Week and Hispanic Heritage Month. We acknowledge the significant contributions to such as legislation and collaboration with outside entities to advance the Latin Hispanic UCF population. So please give Chair DeCara a hand. I pay attention. I may not come to every meeting, but I read those minutes, okay? I read those minutes and administration talks, and That is an individual who has been in contact with people in higher up positions, and they've significantly benefited from legislation that has been passed. And it was just a no-brainer to give Chair DeCara this recognition. Are there any questions regarding anything that I have said? Caucus and Kanawha.
Yeah, I joined Senate last Thursday. I forgot to complete the RSVP form for the retreat. How could we handle that?
So there were 24 people who filled out the form, and I put 30 just as a buffer. So if you didn't fill out the form and you're a new senator that's attending, just let me know. Kanawha.
If we submitted a PowerPoint for the form for chairs and vice chairs, is that good for the one pager?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to let you know that you won't have too much time. That's why I want a one pager. I know a one pager is more of you're seeing it, but you can speak for a significant amount of time. So if you think you can go through it for that window of time, you can do it. I have the itinerary on there, and I think I give about 30 minutes to 45 for hour actually for all the committees. Yeah, I give an hour. So there's just literally divide that hour up by how many committees, caucuses. Some will take more than others. So yeah, how long is your PowerPoint?
3 slides.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. All right. Are there any other questions? Daedalus?
I feel like this was said already, but where are we having the retreat?
Where you're sitting.
Oh, perk.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go looking around campus. Are there any other questions? Seeing none. All right. Internal Legislative Assistant Report, ILA Pullman.
Hi, everyone. So we had our 4th SGLC meeting on Wednesday where they met the judicial branch. It went great. It went great. And I will be in contact with committee and caucus chairs because legislative day is coming up on next Wednesday. So kept checking emails and teams. Let me know if you can't make it. Also, if anyone is interested in joining the SG Nighthon team, let me know. It's SGLC led. It's going to be more prominent in the spring, but if you want to join now, that'd be great. And come to our committee meetings and help fundraise and just let me know.
Are there any questions for ILA Pullman? Seeing none, External Legislative Assistant Report, ELA Richmond.
Hey, so most of the dean meeting minutes are on the website, so check that out. And there's a new Google form for the downtown meeting, so fill it out because the dean's availability has changed. And I just wanted to thank everyone who showed up, just kind of echoing Speaker Holmes' sentiments, filling out the proclamation, or just even giving an initiative is great.
Oh, do you want to talk about you and Chair Hamid, what y'all are going to do for the Senate retreat tomorrow and what they should do to prepare for that?
Oh, yeah. So I made a doc. I can even link it in here, just detailing possible legislation that has come out through these dean meetings that we can write during the Senate retreat. So there'll be a little section throughout that me and Chair Hamid will be working on.
Are there any questions for ELA Richmond? Seeing none. Senate President Pro Tempore Report, Pro Tempore DeMarla.
Hello, I hope everyone's doing well. As a reminder, when when everyone signs your legislation or proclamation, and you are given it back to send it to administration, tell them what your goals are and what you're actively doing. That way, if they have some advice or if they can point you in even a stronger direction, they're able to. And it also kind of shows them, what Student Government Senate is doing. Additionally, this past week, I've been going over parts of our statutes with AG Moore to ensure that the language is precise and clear.
Are there any questions for Pro Tempore DeMarla? Seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs Report, D-Leg Morset.
Hello, everyone. We have one fiscal bill tonight on 3rd reading and one fiscal bill on 1st reading that's being remanded to CRT, as well as 2 on 2nd reading. You guys are doing great by sending me all the legislation you are writing, so go ahead and keep it up. And also, don't be afraid to reach out with me any questions, whether it's fiscal, legislative related, or even personal questions. I am here to help, and as well as all of the Pro Temp's office.
Are there any questions for D-Leg Morset? Seeing none, Pro Tempore of Senate Relations Report, D. Sir Mattal.
Hey everyone. So The pro temp office is writing a revised RSO email to incorporate any new changes with funding or anything like that, as well as just a way for you guys to keep in continued contact with your RSOs. Additionally, I'm working on the issue of updating RSOs that were registered under Knight's emails. Unfortunately, a lot of them, I don't think really realize that they haven't been re-registered. So it's been a very slow process, as there's only been a couple about every week. Additionally, to the new senators, keep an eye on your email, as I'll be adding any new RSOs. I'll be sending you your RSOs to represent, which is, again, a very slow process as they're being added very slowly.
Are there any questions for Deeser Matal? Seeing none, caucus reports, APIA caucus, Chair Patel.
So I've been in contact with APAC and MSC to organize a meeting about Asian Heritage Month, which is in April, to start planning our events for that. I've been making sure that Asian RSOs are aware of the RSO funding workshop, which is on October 18th. And then we're working on planning an event involving Asian food trucks in November, and more details will come later on for that. And then for new senators, if you want to join this caucus, we meet bi-weekly on Tuesdays at 11 a.m.
Are there any questions for Chair Patel? Seeing none, Black Caucus, Chair Daedalus.
Hello, everyone. Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Just if you have breasts, honestly, just recognize the signs and check yourselves often, please. But please take care of yourself, as I always do encourage. Eat at least 2 nutritious meals a day and drink at least 8 cups of water daily. I'm going to give you the opportunity to take your sip of water now. Right.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I just saw your team's message. You're not required to go. So if you have anything that was pre-planned beforehand, you're fine. Just make sure you submit an absence request, stating this was done months prior or weeks prior or days prior, and I can't make it. Yeah. That goes for all the senators regarding the Senate retreat. If you had something pre-planned and you just found out about it last week, just go ahead and submit an absence request form on Night Connect. My apologies.
That's fine.
Are there
I
any?
wasn't done.
Huh?
I wasn't done.
What happened?
I wasn't done.
Oh my God, I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine.
Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, we had a really great meeting this morning, and I encourage everyone to join us. I just love everybody's opinions. So yeah. And then also tomorrow, BSC will be having their Black Friday and in the student union patio. So I encourage you all to at least pass by and enjoy yourselves. There's going to be music. I'm not going to say food, but there's going to be music and vibes. So I welcome you to join.
Are there any questions for Chair Daedalus? Seeing none, my apologies, Chair Daedalus. Disability Caucus, Chair Campbell.
Good evening, everyone. So this week we worked on defining what we want in our concern form, trying not to step on the feet of SAS's accessibility barrier form, and on the form that SBA already has. We're trying to just do something that's a little more encompassing than what SAS has, but not necessarily covering the same grounds that they do. We also talked about what the current process is for requesting a space on campus through the Office of Space Administration, as that is now the current process for if we were to try to get a space for Disability Commons. And we also saw concerns from a student who is meeting to discuss accessibility barriers on campus due to some different staff members. If anyone would like to join, Wednesdays at 1:30, we are hybrid, so you can join us on Zoom.
Are there any questions for Chair Campbell? Chair Samila?
I feel like you might know the answer, but related to ticket distribution for HOCA Week, do you know if there's a different way for students to be able to get their tickets that isn't going in person?
No. So in general, ticket distribution has always been an issue. That's always been an accessibility barrier. I would say that if you have any students that you know of that are having that legitimately need an alternative option to access tickets, have them email the Disability Caucus email. And I'll try and take care of it personally.
Al, I also can give you the email of the royalty director, so that whatever Chair Samila sends to you, you can forward it to them, and you can correspond with them in whatever way you see fit.
Yeah, sounds lovely. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Chair Campbell? Seeing none, Latin Hispanic Caucus, Chair DeCara.
This meeting, we talked about our scholarship initiative and we started doing some research on that. Additionally, OSI reached out to me yesterday that the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, HACU, will be having an emerging leadership conference here at UCF. It'll be held on November 16th and the registration deadline is November 2nd. I put the form in our general channel. It's open to all majors. They specifically said like STEM and business, but they said all. But it has a lot of like keynote speakers and people coming in. I'm gonna see if the student government Instagram can repost it because it's an HSI initiative too. Also tonight we are also seeing the Transfer Student Week proclamation. It's a big prominent thing of the Latin Hispanic community. Another thing, HIP Scholars applications are open. HIP Scholars is one of the many initiatives that HSI has pushed. It's a great program to be a part of, especially if you're looking to do research. And lastly, tomorrow at CUCF, which is the it's like basically it's for it's a whole day dedicated to first year students from Valencia College, Seminole State College of Central Florida, and the Lake Sumter State College. It focuses on assisting students to decide on which major is the best fit and the importance of early transfer preparation, in addition to sharing about the truths of Transfer Center and Direct Connect services. And during that, I'm honored to speak on the transfer student panel. So I get to talk about my involvement with student government. Additionally, I do stuff outside with Greek life, but I'm a peer nights coach too, and I do peer nights. I work with transfer students, so I will be there tomorrow. I don't know if y'all are able to stop by at the time. It's usually like it may be a closed event, but if you are, we'll be in the Pegasus Ballroom. So
At what time?
it should be it's all day, but mine is like 11. It's like a 9 to like 11 something. But I'll send it again in the general channel to remind y'all.
Are there any questions for Chair DeCara? Seeing none, I apologize. Sorry. LGBTQ plus caucus, Chair Carter.
Hi, everyone. Our event is next Thursday, October 19th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the EC Magnolia Room and Live Oak Event Center. Please spread the word about the event on your social medias, Discord channels, or in person. And also snacks and refreshments will be provided. And as a caucus, we'll be meeting next Tuesday, October 17th. After that, we will have our regularly scheduled meetings bi-weekly on Friday at 12 p.m. And as well, next week, there is a Unite the Knights event going on par with Charity Care's announcements about Transfer Week. It is a event centered around transfer students that will happen from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Reflection Pond. And also I met with Coordinator Trugold earlier to discuss some final details about the workshop we're having next week.
What time will you be meeting on Tuesday?
Check my calendar. Unless Vice Chair Fentel is like absolutely sure. Okay. 2 p.m. if
Got
that's
it.
okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I have it in so that you are able to conduct business. Are there any questions for, Born?
Does your caucus plan on RSVPing for the Women's Health Fair?
We have not talked about that yet, but from the caucus, they seem willing to table, so we have to discuss details of what we're going to do.
Are there any, DeCara?
It's more of like a addition. I actually Unite the Knights thing they're doing. They've actually reached out to executive, to Lucy, the academic coordinator. So we are tabling. So if you want, you can reach out to her. And if I say this to all caucuses, they're tabling for student government. So if you do have your pamphlets and information you want to pass out for, any events you're hosting, I know you have like the workshop coming up, and then like the fair coming up. Like if you have like your already like graphics put out, I recommend reaching out to her soon so she can get together, or you can ask if you want to table with her.
Okay, thank you. The caucus was also emailed to table at the event as well, but thank you so much.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none. Women's Caucus, none. Military and Veteran Caucus, Chair Collazo. Can he just speak or do I have to make a motion Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank the caucus for electing me as chair. I promise I won't let you down. Additionally, thank you to all the senators, student government agents, Army and Air Force ROTC, and SVA for joining the caucus. It means so much to me and Attorney General Moore that there are more people than ourselves who want to support our military students. A special shout out to Senator Karingo for being elected as vice chair. Chair Samila, you have treated him very well. We did have an impromptu meeting today to discuss our mission statement and description of the caucus because our first meeting last week was cut very short due to the chamber difficulties. But our next meeting is next week at Friday, 4 p.m. in the Charge On Chamber. All caucus members will receive an Outlook invitation from me tomorrow to essentially confirm attendance, and the meeting will focus on semester goals and improving our seal. And then additionally, on November 1st, we have Atrium Takeover for Veteran and Military Family Month kickoff. We will be tabling for that during this event, and that this is with partnership with the Director of Student Affairs and the Military Veteran Success Center.
Are there any questions for Chair Collazo? Samila?
Not really a question, but let's not treat him like a dog. But yeah, he is well trained. I know.
If you need any merch or anything for it, let us know. We have brochures and stuff for like CRT, this and that. Since it's a caucuses are inner branch thing, we don't mind giving our things that for incentives for students to come to your table. Are there any other senators? Seeing none. Unfinished business, none. Fiscal committee caucus time. FAO. First, I have a question for Temple. Board has asked for 10 minutes, but he's not here. Would you like to chair it or?
It was my understanding that I would be acting as chair for the ORS caucus time.
Got it. All right, good to know. So, CRT. Okay. And then, yeah, that was the plan. Okay, so what we're going to do, Chair Samilo and Pro Tempore DeMarla recommended is that we do FAO in the SG conference room for 30 minutes. Are you okay with that, Butler? Okay. And then CRT and ORS in this chamber for their business. I have a question for Samilo. Would you want it one at a time? So you do it and then they do it. Okay. So you may. Yeah.
It is. I'm not quite sure if we're to see two RSOs tonight. I'm not sure if the other one is here. So I mean, of course. I mean, actually, I just realized Karingo is actually the representative for one of the RSOs. So I will. I'll be open to having CRT go first, so we can see to that.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So actually, CRT, we have an allocation for the RSO that you're seeing today. So maybe you should go first, so that way, if you guys do sanction them, we know what it is and we can approve them today during caucus.
Works for me.
Okay, sounds good. So what we're going to do is FAO is going to caucus for 30 minutes or however long it takes in the SG conference room, and ORS is going to go first in this room, and then CRT is going to go right after them. So I hereby recess this meeting at 7:56 to return around 8:26.
ORS to the center table. Senator Rose. ORS is caucusing right now. We need all the votes we can get on these. So,
Whichever one will maximize quorum.
yeah, I'm pretty sure FAO will be more than fine. Do we know if Air Force ROTC is here?
Air Force ROTC?
Yeah. Oh. I thought you were. I know.
Is there one for Air Force too?
There's one for Air Force. There's one for Air Force ROTC, and there's one for Arnold Air Service.
Both of them, I guess.
Oh no.
I'm here for both of them.
Oh god.
Let's do both. Why not?
Alrighty then. Well then, that.
He's supporting the Air Force.
So let's do both.
Oh my days.
Why do we have one for Air Force?
Um.
By the way, I didn't realize they had like they get.
I'm sorry, Adam. We're gonna. Well, I'll notify it. But for now, I hereby call this meeting to order at 8 p.m. Roll call and verification of quorum. I guess me. Can I take notes? Call to order at 8 p.m. Roll call and verification of quorum. Myself am present. Senator Kennel. Senator Rose. Sorry for having to pull you out of FAL, but you're needed here. Pro Temp Rep. All right. Fourth. All right. So. Thank you. Approval of the minutes. I don't have those minutes linked in here.
We can just look at the.
Kenna.
I was there. It seemed pretty good. I would like to motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? We'll correct the record thereafter. Seeing none. All right, those minutes stand approved by general consent. Approval of the agenda. Tonight's going to be very short, hopefully. So I will take a motion. Kenna.
Motion to approve this meeting's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve today's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none. I'm sorry, Senator Brown. I don't mean to all good. They're fine. All right. So announcements from the chair. Good evening, everybody. So no, that's intentional. That is intentional. I'm supposed to represent Unai Emery today. Look him up. So I obviously am not Tyler, but today we are caucusing for two quick pieces of business, unfortunately involving the same person. Sorry about that, Garrinkle. So we'll get this done and dusted as soon as possible. My on this day fact of the day will be delayed until my gap report in Senate proper. Are there any objections? And, all right, seeing none. Announcements from the vice chair. You could just listen back to what I just said not even 2 seconds ago. Announcements from committee members. Any committee members? Seeing none. Non-committee members. Brody, anything? Alrighty, fantastic. Old business, post funding reviews, FAO 5449. I will take I'm sorry. I'll take a motion for speeches, questioning, and debate.
Is it possible you could forward me what's happening?
Yeah.
Do you want me to just add?
Wait, Amy,
Yeah, I'm gonna be required decorum here. Sorry. I'll take a motion for speeches, questioning, and debate. Yours.
Motion for 3-minute speeches, 3-minute questioning, 3-minute debate.
There's been motion for 3-minute speeches, 3-minute questioning, 3-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are standing at a 333, FAO 5449. Vice Chair Kringle.
Okay, 333, you got it. So.
Not yet. Sorry, I need to. I was waiting to see if you were ready, but provide some general information. Air Force ROTC did revert more than 20%, specifically 30.77%, about $1,000 out of $3,250. So of course, statutes would recommend a 50% sanction. So this is all the information that was provided to me by Chair Borges. For the sake of the live stream, I will provide it as such. The initial email was sent to an old officer. Change of command is every semester, sorry. Not sure why the money was not spent. Old person was already graduated, no receipt as a result. So the email read as such. So we did this well in advance and had to submit the request early for the paintball since it is a lot to plan/pay for. The cadet who was last in charge of the paintball was recently graduated and commissioned, but we think they had planned for 150 to 50 cadets. We did this on a Thursday, Friday night, so it's hard for cadets to show up if they had work or have outside their obligations. We think that only 110 cadets were able to make it, and they did not make you guys or the business office aware of the difference in pricing. We can either work out something to send the money back or do something else to ensure that it will not happen again. We really would like to avoid the sanction. Please let me know if there's any other information you need from us. Thank you very much. And then provided our additional documents from regarding the FAO allocation. So either we can allow the representative, who's the vice chair, unfortunately, to go first, or we can motion for the supporting documents before we move for him. So if the individual would like to clarify first before we move into the documents.
I can speak on this a little bit actually, because I was somewhat aware of this now that I'm on the financial side. So yeah, we do change every single semester, which does make it really hard for, I guess, the continuity of information, especially with something like paintball. Paintball is super, it's essential to our training especially, but with the comes down to cost of things and funding it, they send us quotes at the beginning of every single year. We start getting quotes for paintball like right at the beginning of the semester, so we can lock down the dates. I know it is usually around 3,000. I know this year the quoting is 4,000, but I know we did 3,000 plus the 250 probably, so we could have a little bit of wiggle room. But yeah, with something like this, a lot of not a lot of cadets, but we usually get a small amount that don't show up that day because of some last minute issues. And because of that, the paintball prices for the amount of paint we use and everything else can vary kind of wildly. So for that and how much time we use for their staff, we end early, we end late, we don't use as much paint, we don't use as many as the paintball guns, as much of the equipment. That all subtracts from our total amount that we have actually charged for this event.
Right.
But yes, the initial quote for the beginning of the semester was $3,000.
All right. Are there any questions for the representative? I actually have one on hand. So since this was an allocation, did you have students attend this like outside of ROTC in order to help bump up those prices?
To my knowledge, no. Yeah, no. This was this wasn't offered to any other, or like I guess yeah, just broadcasting other students. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, I just now realized if we can use the mics for the live stream, please.
Oh.
My apologies. I just now realized that.
So sorry, can you reset the question real quick?
So since it was an allocation, did you have students attend this event outside of ROTC in order to help like bump up your costs?
To my knowledge, no, there was no other students. But then again, I was not on this event. I don't have the information for attendance. I do have the attendance for ROTC individuals personally. Like I can look that up right now if needed. But to my knowledge, there was no non-ROTC cadets that did want to attend.
Okay. Anything else from the committee? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion? Go for it.
I just got the question. So what steps will you take? You know, you kind of mentioned that continuity is an issue every semester. So, you know, with this in mind, what steps can you take to make sure that continuity doesn't result in a sanction going forward?
It goes. So for going forward for especially the next 2 years, I will be in ROTC. I will be their #1 Senate contact for these kind of issues. One thing I'm currently working on right now is good.
You continue.
Okay. It is a document to actually start outlining the allocations and the bills for CRT and FAO, so we can continue to use funding that is provided to us because we are students. But also making sure that we can follow up on the post-funding process, especially. I think it's the part we struggle in most. But yeah, just basically providing an outline of those steps to follow, the timeline that it'll take, and especially noting that whatever I write right now is not up to date, you know, providing links to any future documents, any future titles that might be adjusted to adjust the amounts or timelines of things. But yeah, definitely just with continuity, passing down any information that I know to any future finance officers that we have.
All right. Anything else from the committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion. Kenna?
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I will take debate and then we can move on from there. Tamara? Yeah, Mike, sorry.
Thank you for reminding me. So, you know, just based on the speech and I guess the way that the paintballing works, which is kind of confusing and interesting, not being able to figure out the price, like it's not like they buy it ahead of time and then they know for sure. It's once they get to the place, there's so many factors that are variable and that could decrease it. So, you know, when they got that estimate initially. I don't think they should, be held accountable for this because it was, purely all the wrong factors happened at all the wrong time. And the RSO did provide a way that they're going to maintain continuity. So, taking all of that into account, I don't think that we should sanction this RSO.
I will say, according to this, they did plan well in advance, and they had planned for about 150 cadets. The mic, please.
From what I gather, so you can fact check me, is that they plan it in advance. They have these cadets, but when they go there, if the time is a little bit off of what they plan to stay, and maybe they used a little less paint, then that value will change. So they don't get the value exactly until the entire day is over. So when they plan it in advance, they book it and everything like that, and they get the money from SG, but they won't actually know the price until the end of the day, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, that just to clarify. Yeah, that is basically correct. We do get that initial quote based off the amount of cadets that we do push up front. But then after that, that's when they come back with the pricing. If they have any sort of, hey, we estimated you guys were going to use this much, you ended up only using half because we didn't understand maybe like the model of training you guys are going after, or just we didn't use enough equipment. You guys didn't have a total amount. It could be a factor of things. But yes, we don't get that finalized bill. It's not fixed 3,000. We don't get the finalized bill until the very end of the event.
Anything else from the committee? Rose?
Yeah, I agree with Jamarla. Like, if it's really not possible to know how much exactly you're gonna need in advance, then it's kind of not entirely on the RSO's fault. Although, if they know that it's like not exact, maybe in the future they could find measures to counteract that. I'm not sure exactly how, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely seeing this. I was not aware of this allocation and the, as you can tell, I was not aware that we were sanctioned for this. So going forward, we definitely will take measures to, I think, allocate for less, because I know we can still cover a little bit. We just covering the entire event, it gets very expensive every single semester.
Kenna.
Motion to move to voting.
There's been a motion to move the voting procedure. Are there any objections? Seeing none. So all those all right. Would you clarify your motion, please?
Motion to not sanction the RSO.
And?
Are they on fiscal probation?
Yes.
And remove them from fiscal probation.
There's been a motion to remove Air Force ROTC out from fiscal probation and not sanction them. Are there any objections? Seeing none. All those in favor? All against? All abstaining? With a vote count of 3-0 to 1, Air Force ROTC is not sanctioned and hereby removed from fiscal probation. You're not off the hook yet, man. Sorry.
One more thing.
We're now in new business post-funding review, CRT 54425. CRT 54425, Arnold Air Society, Robert M. White Squadron. So to remind, just for the sake of the live stream, the RSO has been put on fiscal probation for a reversion of greater than 20%, having reverted 100% of the $2,000 allocation they had requested and received. Statutes hereby recommends then a 30% sanction, but I believe the RSO has come back with additional information, and we have as well. So 3 minutes on the clock whenever you're ready, Vice Chair.
Yeah, so this one I was actually a little more aware of. So I remember last year I just joined RSO, just fresh, and we were going to national convention. We requested an allocation for it, but after the allocation, we have one financial manager for RSO that deals with allocations. Of course, we have other trained officers, but she's the one that dealt with the communication. She came back about a week after about the CRT meeting and was stating that CRT actually didn't end up funding us. We did not get the allocation or the money pertaining to it because there was no communication between her and the accountants to her knowledge. Now that I've been in works with Chair Borges, we've been able to contact the accountants, and there was communication, I think, a few days before the actual national convention happened. According to the timelines, it has to be submitted 14 days beforehand, from what I understood, or 21, one of those two. But according to this, yes, we were allocated the money. We did have communications, and it was submitted, but it was late. The reasonings, I am still unsure why, and I do sincerely apologize for that. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it. But with that,
Once again, for the next 2 years, I'll be working on allocations for these RSOs, and we'll try to get continuity down. I will get continuity down, and we'll be forwarding all sorts of documents recording to funding, and I'll be in charge of funding for the next 2 years. But I do understand that this is a very irresponsible use of these $2,000, and I do understand any sort of sanctions that will be imposed.
And I could provide further context to what Vice Chair Karen Gold said, because if you look at the link here, there's a new document added. So Chair Bohr has through the week was able to reach out to Fong in the business office, and he said the following: "Hi Tyler, looks like I sent the original email back on the 15th of March 2023. Oh great, eyes of March to Adriana Figueroa. I believe that was the individual. Okay. They sent some link on April the 5th, and I responded back to resend as a PDF since I could not open the file. I did not get any response after that. Are there any questions for the committee? Demarla.
I'm just trying to understand the situation more. So was it that the individual that was representing you believed that they didn't receive CRT funding, or that they knew and just thought that it got denied halfway through?
That is something I'm still trying to figure out. To my knowledge, and from what was happening, from what I saw during spring semester of last year, that they went to the CRT meeting. I remember the week that they went, and they came back saying that we did not receive funding at all. Now, I was unsure about the email and the correspondence the few days before the event. That's brand new information to me. And they stated that they had no correspondence with the accountants at all. So that is future information I'm still hoping to obtain. But to my understanding, yes, she was stating that she did not have any correspondence at all with the accountants or with CRT after the allocation was approved in the meeting.
I'm going to require a motion to extend questioning time. Kendall.
Motion to extend questioning by 2 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend questioning time by 2 minutes. Any objections? Seeing none, I'll provide more context to it as well. So the individual did send in emails to the business office. It's just that they only sent it to one individual in question, Fong, not to their accountant. If you were to look in the what's it called? I'll just show you here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So if you can see up in the subject lines here, they only sent it to Fong, never to their accountant, Lachman Juggernaut, I believe I pronounce it. I don't want to butcher that. But it just looks like they had sent it to one individual that was not their accountant, and they had not heard back since, which is the other email I just read out. All right, Deborah.
So was there anyone else in the RSO that was aware that this was an issue, or was it kind of like everyone in the RSO just, took her word and was like, we didn't receive funds?
It was definitely the latter. Definitely just kind of took her word. She was the only one who had constant communication with any sort of allocation or funding in general. She was the financial management officer. We don't have one of those people that usually works on that. But yes, she was the only one, and everyone's just kind of going off of, yes, we haven't received anything based off of her word.
Tamara?
So how will you go forward with holding, this position accountable if there only is one? Will you be overseeing it, or will you make sure that, what they're doing is a little bit more public?
Yeah, I will be definitely I am overseeing this current position with this RSO. I'm not the financial management officer, but I'm currently working with the current one as they were elected before I even thought of running for Senate. But that was back in March, anyway, off topic. So yeah, with that, definitely making it more public. I know with this entire process, I've been in constant communication with the previous financial officer, with the president of the RSO, and with the current fiscal manager, copying them on basically all communications that I have to make sure that this information is more well known. We can work towards making this more public and having more people CC'd, aka like the treasurer and our president, and maybe one extra person. But I haven't thought of that until you said it, so thank you for that. But yeah, we definitely will be working towards getting allocations and stuff more well known within our RSO, because we do go to conferences usually once a semester.
There's 16 seconds left on the clock. Are there any further questions? Kendall?
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Anybody for debate? Rose?
Yeah, so from what I understand, this is mostly the fault of the RSO for a couple of mistakes in communication. But since they're here and remorseful, I would recommend a 25% sanction.
All right. Anything else? Seeing none, is there a motion? Damarla?
I would like to also hear anyone else's opinions, just because this is a tricky situation. And I think that I don't know if I want to place the entire blame of an RSO on one person, if they believe that that one person was correct in saying that they never received it. But I don't know. It's a really tricky situation. So I'd like to hear other people's opinions. But I appreciate your stance, and I definitely understand.
For clarification on the matter, the individual in question was the liaison for Silverwing, and between the ANS Business Office and the RSO. When the RSO had requested those funds, it was under her prerogative to connect with the accountant. Unfortunately, they had not CC'd the accountant on their emails, and they had sent a faulty link to Fong, who is not an accountant but a budget analyst within the business office. At least that's what I think he is. By the way, he's awesome. Fong had requested communiques back from the RSO, in which case they never heard back, and that's why the funds were reverted thereafter. Oops. Anything else? Kenna,
Question for the chair, if I may.
go for it.
What do statutes recommend? Sanction.
Statute recommended 30% sanction due to the nature of the reversion, because it is 100%, $2,000 to $2,000. However, per precedent, we have usually cut off 5% for the fact that the RSO has been communicative and present within the committee. Kendall,
Motion for a 20% sanction.
clarification.
We usually take off 5%, but we have the same person representing for both similar cases. And in this one, it was one person, again, as mentioned, who was just out of the loop. And unfortunately, that had reverberating effects on everyone involved. But I don't think one person's mistake should echo, especially when we have a representative here who's going to be continuing to represent them. I mean, it sounds like there's a plan in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. So, I mean, I would hate for it to be the regular sanction when it looks really good, like it won't happen again.
I will say we have had instances in the past where it has been just the prerogative of one individual, specifically the treasurer, that has had miscommunications with the business office that has led to such reversions. So I'm just going to put that out there to the floor that this has happened before. And this has happened in the past, whether it's just one individual or two individuals, or even the past e-board entirely that has made the mistakes of that now the current board is reaping. So the 25% sanction has been applied duly to those circumstances in the past. I'm just going to put that, make note of that to the committee. Anything else? There's 1 minute left on the time for debate. Anybody for a motion? Otherwise, we can sit here. Kenna.
Motion for a 20% sanction and to remove the RSO from fiscal probation.
There's been a motion for a 20% sanction for the RSO removal from fiscal probation. Are there any objections? Rose, is that an objection?
Yeah.
Do you withdraw, Kenna?
I withdraw.
Rose.
Do I explain or?
You don't have to.
Motion for 25% sanction and to remove them from fiscal probation.
There's been a motion for a 25% sanction on the RSO and removal from fiscal probation. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. All those in favor of the 25% sanction? All opposed? All abstaining. With a vote count of 3 to 1 to 0, the RSO has been sanctioned at 25% and removal from fiscal probation. Thank you. Right on time. Sorry, Adam. But when Chair Borges comes back from his sabbatical, he will provide you the email for both RSOs. But otherwise, Air Force ROTC and Silverwing will be able to request funding from here on.
FAO was Arnold, but we're about to go request funding right now for CRT.
For Silverwing?
Yeah,
Okay. We'll make this quick then. So seeing no other business, miscellaneous business, I'll take a motion. Kenna.
Motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
Man, it feels weird having to hear that from somebody else other than me. There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Kendall. Next.
Vice Chair Temple.
Present.
I am present. Senator Rose.
Present.
And Pro Tem Rep. With a same as initial.
All right. I hereby adjourn at 8:24 p.m. CRT, you're up.
That's great.
All right. I call this meeting to order at 8:25. So, roll call and verification of quorum. Vice Chair Kringle.
All right, Chair Samillo.
Present.
I am here. Senator Brown.
Present.
Senator Yera.
Present.
ORS Rep.
Present.
And Pro Tempore.
Here.
Oh, full roster. Quorum is verified.
All right. With that, if you guys want to take a look at the minutes from last minute's meeting, I'll take a motion. That didn't make sense, Adam.
Motion to approve last week's minutes.
There's been a motion. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it stands approved. Approval of the agenda. Go ahead.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it stands approved. Announcements from the chair. We just have a few things to go over. We'll make it quick. Announcements from the vice chair, none. Announcements from committee members. Anybody wish to say anything? Seeing none. Announcements from non-committee members, none. Old business allocation 55-12, which is seen as a block all the way to allocation 226, I believe. Yeah, 226. So for these ones, I have someone that's going to come in and represent them instead of Brody because this is something we talked about last week. So I'm just going to move to postpone them for 2 weeks till the meeting 2 weeks from now. So that way they get off of pending. So is there a motion to postpone allocations 55-12 through 55-26 to 2 weeks from now? All right, perfect. So I'm just going to move all of those to postponed. And then with that, is there a motion to move to allocation 55-172, the Arnold Space Society? Did I say it wrong?
Arnold Air Society. So
Oh, I missed the air. Sorry. Okay. So we have this allocation as pending approval from the second on our meeting. They were put on a sanction from ORS. So we just wanted to wait to see how long and how much it would have been. So we do have the answers now. So go ahead.
First, my apologies. Where is the allocation number?
We've not approved this.
That was a good one.
What happened?
I think I may have just shocked myself on my own computer.
Oh my gosh, that was really loud. Okay, so is there a motion to move back to approval of the agenda? All right, let me put it on there. Okay, and then when you're ready, if you want a motion to reapprove that, when you put it back, go ahead.
Motion to approve the agenda.
There's been a motion to reapprove the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none. All right, so again, go back to that allocation. We already approved it, so now we just need to pretty much go through the whole thing again and get that sanction on there. So is there a motion? Adam?
Motion to approve allocation 55-172.
There's been a motion to approve allocation 55-172. Are there any objections? Seeing none. We are now in voting procedures. So again, just to clarify, since normally we do not have people that have sanctions, this is one of the first or second. We do approve it at the total cost that we can allocate them, and then Temple will go in and change it to the cost that they are sanctioned at. So we will approve them at the cost that they can get. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, seeing none, all those for, all those against, and all those abstaining, with a vote count of 4 to 0 to 2, they have been approved. And then Temple's just going to go in and change the numbers for us. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't quite have. I don't have access to any of yours.
Okay, so
Come over here. Or I can move over there.
however y'all want to do it. But yeah.
It's been a while since I had to apply sanctions, so I'm very.
You'll just have to put the percent. All right, so while they do that, we're going to continue with our business. So motion to, let's see, which one's next? So motion to move to allocation 55076. All right, so I am advocating for them. This is VJ Luthra. He is a senator with us. We had approved his allocation before. However, once he got to the finance office, they did let him know that by the time that the funds were able to be allocated, registration did fill up, so they no longer can have a spot in that conference. So we just need to zero out their allocation so that they don't get seen by ORS. With that, we are now in questioning. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead. Use your mic for the live.
So are we just denying the allocation?
No, we aren't going to deny it because it already went through the business office. We just have to zero it out so they don't get sanctioned.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Adam. Bless you.
Motion to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Is there anybody wishing to debate? Akila? There's been a motion to zero out allocation 55076. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. So if you're voting for, you're voting for zeroing it out. If you vote against, you're voting to not. So all those for, all those against, and all those abstaining with a vote count of 5 to 0 to 1, they have been approved. So let me go through. It was 55078, right? 76. Okay, let me just change it in the tracker. Yes, go ahead.
So would this be seen as like an amendment to the allocation itself, or you're just
Technically, no. So amendments have to be in committee. So since we already did all of this and we already approved it, the only reason I'm zeroing it out is so that when I send the thing, like the tracker that we have, the main tracker, like the master tracker, to the finance office tomorrow, they have the cost now at 0. And I just email back to the finance office and say, hey, this is what happened. I did change the price to 0. So that way they don't get seen by ORS and get sanctioned at 100% for something that wasn't their fault. It's just taking something off of ORS's plate kind of thing.
okay? So technically, the allocation was already approved. It had everything. It just circumstances changed, and this is just a weird way of circumventing the.
Correct.
Okay.
So that way they skip the step of going to ORS. Instead, I just help them and zero it out.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I just wanted to understand the
No,
process here.
you're good. All right. With that, we are now at allocation 55229. And Temple, if you want to go, if you already did it, you can leave. Thank you. No, I'm pretty sure we're all good. All right, thank you. Harriet Austin. So, this individual we did postpone during CRT on Monday. I did email them because I was going to advocate for them, but they never emailed me back until after CRT already happened. You can go back over here. Will you write this for my speech, please?
Oh, you wanted the speech?
Yes, please. So they didn't answer me before our meeting on Monday. So I did email them again and said, hey, so we're able to caucus on Thursdays and I can advocate for you that way. So that way we can still approve this, because if we see it next week, it will be out of timeline at that point. And Fong has let me know that he does not want to take any allocations that are out of timeline just because of the circumstances in the business office right now. So with that being said, we do have to deny this now. I have emailed her 3 times today saying like, hey, from 12 to 6, I'm available to get on Zoom. And she hasn't answered any of them. So I also emailed her prior about having a one-on-one, and she just has never answered any of my emails. So that's what we're doing. Does anybody have any questions? Akila.
Move to deny 55-229.
There's been a motion to deny allocation 55-229. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there.
So are we moving to deny or move to vote?
Motion to vote.
Okay.
Same thing. Motion to vote. Okay, so all those for, all those against.
So is the motion to deny?
We're just voting.
We're just voting. So if you're for the allocation, then you raise your hand to keep it approved. Deny.
Moved it to voting, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so all those for, all those against, and all those abstaining with a vote count of 4 to 0 to 1, they have been denied.
0 to 41. 0 to 41.
Oh, what did I say? Oh, I said 4 to 0. Sorry, you know what I meant.
I wrote approved. Okay, so like we're both.
We're both. We're not used to denying people. It's so sad. Okay. What?
These are just my notes. All right, I'm ready for your speech, Mrs. Madam Smith.
Okay. So allocation 55-238. This one we did have pending approval, just because of timeline issues, which was my fault because there was a lot of people that submitted allocations for SHEP, and I kind of overlooked this one. So we did see them, and we plan to approve them if my email to the business office was happy. However, it was not. And Fong did let me know that because it is an RSO, the process is a lot longer. They have to submit a sheet and this, that, and the other thing. And Fong just said, realistically, the timeline wouldn't work for them to get the funding when they need it to. So I'm here today to pretty much just ask us to deny this. And I already did let the RSO know. With that, we are now in line of questioning. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Brown. There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now there. All those for denying this allocation? We're voting to deny it. So all those for denying, all those against denying, and all those abstaining. So 4 to 0 to 1, your allocation's been denied.
Just because it was pending approval?
Yeah. Yes. Because we already technically approved it. So now we have to vote to deny it instead. All right. So with that, we have done all of our business. That one we moved to just postpone. That was what it was.
Oh, okay.
It was like the big group people.
Did we move to postpone it as a block, or we just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Making sure.
No, you're good. So with that, new business, none. Member discussion. Anyone? Miscellaneous business. Anyone? I'll take a motion.
Motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Vice Chair Kringle.
Alrighty, Senator. Chair Smith.
Present.
I'm here. Senator Brown.
Present.
Senator Yera.
Present.
ORS Rep. Which is present. And then Pro Tempore Rep.
Here.
All right. Quorum verified.
Perfect. So I motion to adjourn this meeting at 8:38 p.m.
All right. Fiscal committee report. Oh, wait, sorry. I do this every time. Okay, I hereby reconvene Senate at 8:44 p.m. Fiscal committee report. CRT committee chair Samilo.
Hey. So it's a little chaotic in the agenda, so I'm going to read it from something else. But in committee on 10/9/23, in new business, we approved allocations 55, 182, 192, 210, 211, 227, 231, 232, 233, 234, 235, 236, 237, 240, 241, 242, 243, 244. We postponed 55, 179, 55, 228, 55, 230, and PPI 55, 239. And then today in caucus, in old business, we approved allocation 55, 172, denied 55, 238, 55, 229, and postponed allocations 55, 212, 213, 214, 216, 217, 218, 219, 215, 220, 221, 222, 223, 224, 225, 226. So in conclusion, I need to move back to the other thing. We approved 18 allocations, 0 fiscal bills, postponed 18 allocations, PPI'd 1, and denied 2.
All right. Are there any questions for Chair Samilo? Seeing none. FAO committee report, Chair Butler.
Hi, everyone. FAO didn't meet on Monday, but today in caucus, we approved 55, 31, 25, and 30. We postponed 55, 34, and we approved bill 55, 18.
All right. Are there any questions for Chair Butler? Seeing none, ORS committee, Vice Chair Temple.
Good evening, Senate. So, of course, I'm not Tyler, but I'll be providing the report while he's out on sabbatical. Of course, I'm not going to read everything here, but in caucus, we did sanction FAO. We did not sanction FAO 5449 at 0% with a vote count of 3-0-1. And in new business, we did sanctions CRT 54425 at 25% with a vote count of 3-1-0. Outside of caucus and last week's meeting, FAO 5460 was not sanctioned with a vote count of 3-0-0. And Senate Bill 5419, that resulted in a no sanction for 0-0. And new business, CRT 54338 was not sanctioned at 3-0-1. At CRT 54476 was not sanctioned with a vote count of 3-0-1. And SB 5440 was sanctioned at 15% with a vote count of 4-0. I will not subject you all to 2 on this day facts, but I will wait till GAP to provide mine. ORS will not be meeting tomorrow, but we will next week. That is all.
All right. Are there any questions for Vice Chair Temple? Seeing none, thank you. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading. Fiscal Bill 5519, funding for 12 members of the Forensic Science Association to travel to the American Academy of Forensic Sciences Conference in Denver, Colorado from February 19th, 2024 to February 24th, 2024. Introduced by Senator Donahue, is hereby remanded to CRT. Notice of legislation on third reading. I'll take a motion. Samilo?
Motion for a 5-minute speech, 5-minute question, 5-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 5-minute speeches, 5-minute questioning, 5-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now there. Fiscal Bill 5515, funding for 12 members of the American Chemical Society to travel to the American Chemical Society Conference, Many Flavors of Chemistry in New Orleans from March 16th, 2024 to March 22nd, 2024, introduced by D. Like Morissette.
Is anyone else saying that this site can't be reached for the specific bill? Because I'm getting the notification that it doesn't exist for me.
Try refreshing, and if not, maybe I can send you the link, or Kana?
Could people also click away once they open it? Because I can't reach the link.
Okay. Give me a second, Donahue. I'm gonna send it over to you. Mm-hmm. What happened? Samilo?
I have the bill from CRT that we posted. Do you want me to post that in the Teams chat so they can open it that way? Because everyone has access to that one.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it. All right. Oh no, what happened? All right, do you have access, Donahue? I sent you the link in a message as well. Okay. It's okay, yeah. If anything, if Caucus doesn't mind showing you on his computer. Okay. All right, got it. All righty. Sorry, I had to exit out of the agenda, but I am coming back. All right. All right. Do you like more set? Would you like to yield or not? You have 5 minutes.
I was told the RSO would be present, but I'm not sure if they are.
Oh, awesome. You have 5 minutes when you're ready. Make sure to click the button and it has to turn green so that it indicates that the mic is on.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's John. This is my treasurer, Fief. We're here on behalf of the American Chemical Society, and we're proposing to go to our national conference this spring. At the conference, we do a lot of networking. We have opportunities within workshops and everything for our members to go and learn new techniques in chemistry and the technology that we have there. And I went last year and the year before, and as current president, I'm trying to bring 12 people this time. And we went to Indianapolis and San Diego, and this time it's in New Orleans, so it's going to be a lot cheaper since it's closer to home. And we've been doing it for the last, I think, 8 years, maybe 10, since about 2014. So Fief's going to run over some of the numbers that we have for our trip and talk about what we got going on. So
yeah, one of our sources of income is our lab coats and goggles sales. We had 14 grand in sales with 4,000 in profit. Go next slide. And so this is our hotel that we're staying in. We have 3 rooms, 6 nights, 4 people in each room. Total stay is $5,093, although we checked today and there was a $150 price difference. So, yeah. And that's just a picture of the quote. This is our flight cost. It's $3,455.40 for the total flight. That is for 12 people. And this is the quote documentation. This is just only for 6 passengers here. So we'd multiply that price by 2, and that's how we got our number. And this is the registration fee. So for 12 members, we're at $1,188. And this is the total breakdown. So our total cost is $9,737.04, and we're requesting $4,868.52 from Senate.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Do you yield your time?
Yes.
Okay. They're now line for questioning. Samilo?
The numbers that are in the PowerPoint, do those have the additions to the changes that you said you found, like the $150 that it went up from?
The numbers in the PowerPoint does not reflect the $150 change for the airplane cost. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Do we want to change that during debate, or do you just want to leave it and have it be like towards their contribution? I guess it's more a question towards the chair than ours.
For the additional?
Yeah, because it's an additional 150. We could just have it be towards their contribution and not change it, or we could change it during debate. But
honestly, either one's fine with me. I don't really, unless they want to, if they're expecting to, I guess, save funds, if they want to come get more money next time, I'd recommend that they add it to their contribution instead of our contribution, but it's up to them. Samilo?
And then can I direct the question to them? Okay. Would you like us to change the numbers to reflect what you found today, or do you want us to just keep it as it is in the bill?
would that hindrance the process at all, or?
No, whatever we approve today is whatever like would go towards the business office. So it wouldn't change anything. We can change it as many times right now as.
Yeah, I'd like to update that, but the only issue is like whenever the funds go to the business office, I wouldn't be surprised if the flight costs have changed then as well. So I guess that could come from us too, but I don't know how you guys kind of do that, but yeah, we can update the cost though, $150 today.
All right, so DeMarla.
I guess with that, do you want to update it even more for wiggle room or?
Tamila?
Is that $150 per ticket or $150 total?
Total for all 12 guests.
I guess question back to DeMarla, if that's okay. I think maybe if we were to raise it, like how much do you think would be best?
Like 300 in total.
Any other questions? No? Tamila?
So when we were going over this bill with Senate last time, there was a few stipulations with the numbers. I kind of just wanted to ask the travel cost. I know that you said it was like 6 people that you got the original number from and then just multiplied it by 2. Is that why the number's a little bit off if you were just add them together because you multiplied them?
Are the numbers? I don't think they should be off. They should add up, but yeah. We also have the quote documentation on the slide after as well from the hotel.
Quick question to Brody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brody, are we able to incorporate the taxes for this particular bill? I know that the university doesn't typically deal with taxes, but is this an exception to that?
Yes. So generally, taxes for hotels that are out of state are frequently accepted. In state, they try to not pay them. But yeah, just to address the confusion, the numbers didn't add up because they had listed the price per room and then had the total, not factoring in the taxes. And so that's why the numbers didn't make sense the first time they looked at
it. D-Line?
I just want to confirm with the RSO, you guys would like us to add the 300 to your total travel costs?
Yes, please.
Tamila?
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Samilo?
I guess Danny's doing it. I was going to say motion to see my amendments.
There's been a motion to see Chair Samilo's amendments. Oh, do you want to see both?
Yeah, you can see that as a technical.
Or it'll have to be as yeah, it can be as a technical. I'll see it as a technical. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Ms. Temple?
Also a question to the RSO.
You may.
So with this increase in, I believe that's air flights, will this will not impact you in your ability to pay for your half of the bill, correct?
No, it will not.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Ready?
Just to be clear, did you mean all of the amendments in the pricing as technicals?
Yeah, Danny and Samilo's. Uh-oh, sorry. Anyone? Caucus?
We're still in debate.
Yeah.
I would like to speak in favor of this RSO receiving the funding. New Orleans is an amazing city, and this event seems like it will provide a lot of educational benefits that can make your university a better place. And so I think we should all vote in favor.
Are there any other senators wishing to speak in debate? Holman?
May I retain?
You may.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just echo what Costa said. I think it's a great opportunity. Everything looks good, and so motion to vote.
I was going to see everything that incorporates the numbers as a technical. There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5515 on third reading. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 38 to 0, congratulations, Fiscal Bill 5515 passes on third reading. Good luck on your trip. Notice of legislation on second reading. Fiscal Bill 5517 has been postponed in committee. I'll take a motion for Fiscal Bill 5518. Temple.
Move for 5-minute speeches, 5-minute questioning, 5-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 5-minute speeches, 5-minute questioning, 5-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Vice Chair Fintel, 5 minutes when you're ready. Funding for Knight's experimental rocketry to compete in Spaceport America Cup at New Mexico on June 17th, 2024.
The RSO is here.
Do you yield?
Yes.
You have 5 minutes when you're ready. Okay. If it has a green light, it is.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
I apologize. Okay. I apologize ahead of time if my voice is a little raspy, I have a cold. My name's Gabriel. I'm one of the project managers for the Spaceport Cup team this year. We're currently going to 30,000 feet. Our total project cost is the dollar amount above. There might be a slight discrepancy, like a dollar amount. The contribution we're requesting from Senate is $7,900, and I think an extra $1.67 as well. So next slide. So this is our mission. If you haven't heard about KXR already, we're just a club dedicated to building rockets and preparing students for industry. Next slide. So this is our budget breakdown. About $5,500 is going to the structure of the rocket, $2,000 is going to the experimental payload, and about $8,300 is going to our propulsion system, all student research and developed. All of it is going to be experimentally designed as well. So a lot of hands-on work for our students. Next slide. So the competition itself is a wonderful opportunity for our students to gain connections from people all across the world, 160 collegiate teams across the globe. They fly out for a week in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and basically share their designs. They go ahead and compete at the highest level for rocketry. And you also get to meet your future employers as well. So that'll be Blue Origin, Northrop Grumman, Relativity Space. A lot of other companies are there as well. Next slide. So our objectives this year, fly to 30,000 feet. That'll be the tallest mark in KXR history. I'm pretty sure in the history of the school. So it's going to be something really cool and basically teach the students the fundamentals of rocketry and have them gain experience that they can take to industry. Our plan is to launch between the dates of June 19th and the 22nd of next year. And again, the location will be Las Cruces, New Mexico. So we're trying to produce almost 3 times the impulse of the engine from last year that we're iterating off of. So this will be a completely new engine, and it will try to take us to 30,000 feet, and that should be it.
Awesome. We are now in line for questioning. Samilo?
So since the numbers have changed in like the total amounts, do you know what the payloads and the aerostructures and the propulsion numbers are now?
The total budget, I believe, is 7,000, or the total contribution we're asking from student government is about $7,901.67. So the even split, I can't tell you the exact numbers. If we go back to the other slide, it should be those numbers right there. I might have just added them up wrong on the screen, so I apologize. But also prices change. The Amazon links, they might fluctuate a couple cents or so, a couple dollars.
All right. Samilo?
So since we do have like it broken down on the bill, we do have to make sure that the numbers add up to be the correct total.
Mhm.
So with that, it does add up to be 15,802 and 44 cents. So that's less by like $2. Is there somewhere you would like us to add that $2 in those three positions, just so that way it does add up to the correct amount? Do you want us to just like divide them all by 3 equally and add them to each part? Or I'm sorry, I hate to be like,
No, I
Few
appreciate,
cents.
I appreciate the punctuality. The number that we should be expecting, when I calculated it, it was $15,802.44. So if there's a discrepancy of 20 cents or so, this would be the number that we'd be going with.
Temple,
A question to Brody, then the question to the RSO.
you may.
So Brody, given the fact that the date for this event is the 17th of June, that means they have until the 30th of June in order to use their funds. All right. The suggestion has been made to the in the bill, and a question to the RSO.
You may.
Given the circumstances regarding your now significantly reduced timeline to use these bills, are you aware of the post-funding procedures that are requisite of your RSO?
Yes.
Awesome.
Kunal?
I believe on the slides, at least, it said the first day was the 19th. Would we change that in our minutes, and would that get them more time?
Could I clarify something real quick? The flight dates are between the 19th and the 22nd. The actual event starts on the 17th, so I was kind of trying to gear that towards the actual flight itself. I apologize for that.
Anyone else? Seeing none, is there a motion to go to debate?
so moved.
All right, you're now there. Anyone wishing to speak in debate? Samila?
I changed all the numbers in the bill, so
I'll see it as a technical, as well as the date for timeline reasons. D-Leg?
I have had communication with this RSL for the past few weeks. They have requested a lot of allocations and a lot of bills, but their communication has been amazing. All the numbers correct. They're very communicative, both on their presentation and all the emails I've had with them. So I'll be voting in favor. They do amazing things. I hope you guys do what your goal said you would do at this event.
Kunal?
I mean, we're Space U. KXR is always such a pleasure, not only in the funding process, but in the post-funding process. Love seeing what they get done, and pun intended, reaching new heights. I mean, let's vote in favor, guys. This is a good bill.
Samila?
may I retain?
You may.
I'm sorry that I was like being a little knocker on the cents, but I do love the work that you guys do, and I can't wait for you guys to represent UCF's name doing so. So I will be voting in favor. With that, move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5518. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 37 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5518 passes on second reading. Pinto.
Do you think we could see this on third reading?
It's only 9, so what you'll have to do is Temple, would you like to explain it to Vice Chair Pinto?
Yes, please. So if you want to see this bill through third reading, you'll have to motion to return to the approval of the agenda, and then you. Okay, I just.
Oh, prepared. Okay, never mind then. Thank you for being willing. Pintel or Kylie, is that okay? There's just a question, then we'll go to the motion.
Sorry. Did the RSO ask to be seen on third reading today?
Yes.
Okay.
Pintel.
All right. Motion to return to approval of the agenda.
There's been a motion to return to the approval of the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Pintel.
Motion to move Fiscal Bill 5518 from second reading to third.
There's been a motion to move Fiscal Bill 5518 to notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Pintel.
Motion to reapprove today's agenda.
There's been a motion to reapprove today's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Today's agenda stands approved. Pintel.
Motion to fiscal legislation notice of legislation on third reading, Fiscal Bill 5518.
There's been a motion to move to notice of legislation on third reading, Fiscal Bill 5518. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. I'll take a motion regarding speeches, questioning, and debate. Samillo.
2-minute speech, 2-minute question, 2-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 2-minute speeches, 2-minute questioning, 2-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. You may.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Is this a 2-minute speech part?
Yep.
Okay. I'll just kind of go off the limb. The budget is $15,802.44. I think that's what we had determined from the conversation prior. Obviously, we're going the highest any RSO has gone in a competition. It's going to be a very prestigious competition as well. 158 student teams from across the globe will be arriving to Las Cruces, New Mexico, in the dates that I had spoken about before. And you will be able to also make connections not only with those student teams, exchange knowledge, and make great friends over there. You'll also be able to communicate and potentially find your future employer there as well. So this project is not only hands-on, it provides you the opportunity to do something really special with your career as well. I guess I could cut it off there.
All right. Are there any questions, Samilo?
How do you plan on funding for the flights and lodging?
Before I continue, Camilla, do you have anything to add to that? Or?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody in student government helping me out, communicating with emails. You guys are such a pleasure to work with.
For the funding of the travel, I believe you asked, right? So the funding itself for the travel, we will probably be proceeding to go to, excuse me? So we'll basically be trying to fundraise a lot of those funds as well. It is a competition that requires you to spend money to go there. There's like a competition fee. So we'll be doing our own fundraising, which we have done successfully before. We have a history of doing that. And in the event that any expenses come, we'll probably be going to CRT as well. But that's about it.
All right. Are there any other, Butler?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate on Fiscal Bill 5518. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Samilo?
Well, same thing I said before. May I retain?
You may.
Never mind. Okay. So I would love to see y'all in CRT. I would love to make this trip happen. So if you guys need it, we're there for you as CRT teachers. So,
Temple?
My apologies. I just caught the verification of purchases form due date is wrong, so I'm trying to work on that as soon as now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does this have to do with like the bill in general?
Yes, it's
Okay.
the due date for the verification of purchases form.
Got it. I'll see the numbers as a technical and the due date as a technical as well for the verification once that's put in. Temple? It's good? Okay. I'll see it as a technical then. Is there a motion to vote on Samilo?
I was just going to motion to vote.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. You can go ahead.
Motion to vote on Bill 5518.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5518 on third reading. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 37 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5518 passes on third reading. Internal committee caucus time, none. Internal committee reports, ENA committee chair Kanal.
Howdy, Senate. So ENA is pursuing a few new ideas to see how we can help out other committees, caucuses, et cetera, on initiatives that relate to the election statutes. Also considering potentially new ideas about reps roles for that. Starting to work with other chairs on that as well. If you have any suggestions or comments about that, please reach out to me and let me know. And I've linked the ENA meeting minutes from where students were asking questions about Internal Bill 5501, which we see later today, below the bill on tonight's agenda, so y'all can see what was asked there, and hopefully we don't repeat questions. But that's all from me.
Are there any questions for Chair Kanal? Seeing none, GAP Committee Chair Temple.
Good evening, Senate. This week we had a rather productive conversation on how to move ahead with GAP's operations now that legislation is starting to come down from the states. And as we're closing in on our final bits of research, we ultimately sought out more input on certain policy issues, and we had tabled this past Market Wednesday. So credit to Pro Tem Marla and ELA Richmond, and whoever else was out there tabling. Speaking of which, next week we will be starting the drafting of those bills because we do have a set deadline by Senate rules. So for clarity, the due date for which those bills are supposed to be submitted and seen on first reading is the 30th of November. But because that is, of course, our last meeting of the session of the fall semester, I want to see if we can move on them as quickly as possible in order to have as much debate time on them within the chamber. Because after the 30th of November, we're pretty much we can't see them again until spring. So I'll fill the committee in more on that as time moves on, preferably next Tuesday. So yeah, regarding an update on the election day absence policy, we've finally gotten a meeting with the policy committee next Tuesday from 12 to 1. Jeremy Kaufman has invited myself, Gak Martin, and President Greenray to sit in and discuss this policy initiative with the committee as a whole. I will relay any sorts of information from that committee to you all on Thursday, the next time we meet, And then finally, Gak Martin and I met with Janet Owen of Government Relations, who was amazing, by the way, to discuss administration's priorities for the legislature and how to better approach legislators at the Day of the Capitol event. And then finally, my on this day fact: in 1901, President Theodore Roosevelt renames that giant White House that the president resided in from the Executive Mansion to the aptly named White House. That is all.
All right. Are there any questions for Caucus?
What were some things that administration said were their priorities for Day at the Capitol?
So for the most part, the university is going to be prioritizing appropriations and funding specifically. There were 3 buildings, so their priority is going to be worth around $40 million for the most part. But the ones that they wanted us to advocate for the most was an allocation towards the Discovery and Innovation Hub. I can relay the information to you after the meeting.
All right. Are there any questions for Chair Temple? Seeing none. LJR Committee Chair Yam. First of all, Chair Yalman-Chile.
Present voting.
So noted at 9:16 p.m. and you are up for your announcements today.
So, hello, Senate. My apologies for not typing anything into the agenda today. I needed to take some rest after a grueling week, so I will not be here for long. But regardless, LJR did meet today. We approved 15 absence requests, so it was a lot. We also did a title review of Title VII, which is about the impeachment and removal statutes, to get all the committee members up to speed with that title. We discussed very briefly updating the committee's FAQ page on the SG website, and we will be discussing that in greater detail in the next meeting. And no, I will not be leaving you without a history fact, even when I am resting. On October the 12th, 1973, President Richard Nixon had nominated House Minority Leader Gerald R. Ford to succeed Spiro Agnew as Vice President of the United States, and Spiro Agnew had to resign because he was corrupt and was implicated in crimes. Thank you.
The devil works hard, but Bihan works harder on those history facts. Are there any questions for Chair Yalman-Chile? Donahue.
On the Senate retreat absence for myself and a few others, it doesn't list the date. I want to make sure it's just for Sunday so that there aren't any errors. Is that just because it's supposed to be only Senate retreat without a date for Sunday, or is there any reason for that? Sorry.
The minutes will be updated accordingly.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, SBA Committee Chair Hamid.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're feeling great as we're nearing the end of midterms. Hoping that you guys are feeling joyous about that. This week in SBA, I was not able to be at the meeting because I was in the trenches. But Vice Chair Vasquez was able to lead a very productive meeting. I'm very proud of her. We were able to adopt Proclamation 5506 in committee, which passed on first reading. We also did some preparations for tabling in the very near future, which we're going to be using. And we saw a few concerns from the concern form. Also, speaking of the concern form, guys, me and ELA Richmond have officially shortened the concern form down. It is now only 6 questions. It used to be like 13. So like it is short. So hopefully we're gonna get some good responses from that now. Also, I've been looking over the document for college initiatives. I think they're all really amazing. I think you guys did a really good job, and I'm excited to help you all out with that on the this weekend with ELA Richmond. If you guys do want to talk about any specific initiatives that you guys have, feel free to contact me. We can talk about it beforehand. Also, fill out the legislation workshop form if you're interested in learning or teaching how to write legislation. I'm looking for more teachers, so if you know how to write it, please fill it out. I would really appreciate it.
All right, are there any questions for Chair Hamid? Seeing none, confirmations. Is Jonathan here with us today? Awesome. Come on. So your last name is Torres Discua, or can you pronounce that for me, please? Disqua. Got it. All right. Is there a motion regarding confirmations? Kana? I'm so used to calling on Temple, my bad.
Motion for 3-minute speeches, 4-minute questioning, 4-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, 4-minute questioning, 4-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Jonathan, you have 3 minutes when you're ready.
Thank you. I'd like to first off thank you all for even giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you, all of you. My name is Jonathan. I'm a freshman here at UCF studying political science. I haven't been on this campus very long at all, but from my time being here of just like 1.5 months, I've seen how great of a community it is. And I just feel that being a senator would be a great opportunity for me to become part of this community and support it. I am no stranger to advocacy and supporting communities. I am a current, please excuse my nervousness. I'm a current volunteer with Representative on Escamani. And there I do constituent casework and help support the greater Orlando area. I also participated in the Florida Association of Student Councils while I was a senior in high school, where I created legislation, and ultimately that legislation got passed to legislators up in the Capitol. Who knows if they actually looked at it or not, but I, even though I have some prior experience to advocacy and legislation, I'm no expert, so I believe that if I get this opportunity to become a senator, it will benefit my leadership skills, and I can help support this community that will be a part of it for the next, hopefully, 4 years. And I just feel that I always love assisting the communities that I'm in. I love all the work you guys do. I've been to 3 of the Senate meetings, and prior to being here on campus, I have watched the live streams, and I've just loved seeing how you guys help fund things for everybody and help keep this campus going. And I would just love to be a part of that, to help out this campus, listen to people. And ultimately, my desire to be a senator is driven by just listening and being able to be a voice for people who come to me. I yield my time.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. We will go Duke, Carter, then Brown.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to ask if there's any committees or caucuses that you're interested in joining, and why?
Definitely. For caucuses, I would love to be a part of the Hispanic Latino caucus. Since I am from that background, since being on campus, I'm of Honduran descent, and I haven't seen, me personally, lots of Central American representation around campus. So I would love to kind of be kind of that voice for Central Americans and just be able to see what I can do to benefit that community. For committees, I've really been looking at the Student Body Advocacy Committee
just because it's something that I've always, not to bring up high school experience because that isn't really experience, but I've always been just the person people came to talk about issues and help talk about those issues and bring them up to administration. And so ultimately, I just love being there to help people. So I believe those caucuses and committees would be what I'm aiming for. Thank you.
Carter?
Hi, do you have any initiatives or goals in mind for if you do get confirmed tonight? They don't have to be anything specific, they can be general ideas too.
So initiatives, as I said in my speech, as of now, I guess my initiative would be just to see what I can do for the Central American community here at UCF, just from what I've seen with RSLs and stuff like that, that there isn't many Central American-based RSOs, so it'd be nice to represent that community. Yeah, thank you.
What does advocating on behalf of students look like to you?
For me, advocating for students is communicating out to the student body that you are able to have people come to you to discuss their issues and be able to ameliorate those issues that they come to you by just providing any advice, resources, or assistance. Because ultimately, I feel as a senator, you do have more responsibility than normal students on campus. So ultimately, it's just being there, being able to listen, and just listening, really just listening, being able to be open to everybody to come to you for help. Thank you.
Lacasse?
Yeah. So, who is someone thank you for your speech. Who is someone that you view as a leader that you would like to emulate?
View as a leader. Not to be just, I guess, I don't want to be basic, but somebody like AOC, even Representative Ana Escamani, because I work with her and just see how well she does at helping people. She doesn't stray away from from hiding her opinion. She's ultimately there to serve the people, and that's what I want to be here for, to serve the people. Thank you.
There's 30 seconds remaining unless someone wants to extend the questioning time or ask another question. Samila?
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. We'll go Hamid, Pullman, and then Vorn. Sorry, my bad. Vorn hasn't spoken yet. Hamid.
So I think this candidate is really great for Senate. I like the way that he answered the questions, especially that he said that he wanted to join SBA, but I'm kind of biased on that. So I think that he's going to do a lot of great work. I'm really excited to see what he does in the Latin Hispanic Caucus. I'm also excited to see what he does in SBA. So I hope that you guys can all agree with me that we should confirm him.
Would I call Pullman?
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with that. I think this candidate looks great and already a great legislative background, and we can all see the drive that they have towards student body advocacy in general. So I'll be voting upwards, and I encourage everyone to do the same.
More.
I see so much potential in this candidate as they have so many great intentions for their community, and they have a lot of potential. I am excited to work with this candidate.
Are there any other individuals? Lacasse, Duke, and Nava Cruzat.
Yeah, so I just wanted to the main thing I wanted to point about this candidate. I don't ever know what the specific term is that going to get involved as a freshman is such an important thing because as someone who didn't get involved in student government until the end of my junior year, I wish I would have gotten involved sooner. So it's great to see freshmen wanting to get involved, and specifically to be able to acknowledge something that you see as an issue on campus and then be okay, I'm going to get involved to change this, to fix this. I feel shows a lot of drive. So I am in favor of this candidate, and I encourage everybody else to vote in favor as well.
Yeah, no, I encourage everyone to vote for this candidate. As a freshman who has been up at that podium, I understand how nerve-wracking it can be standing before a room full of people just debating you. But I think he had a lot of great answers, and I see a lot of growth in this candidate, so I encourage everyone to vote in favor.
Kana?
Motion to move to voting procedures.
There's been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Or oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. All right. So I think one point that I liked was how you said there isn't much Central American representation here at UCF. Someone like me that tries to be like involved in a lot of ourselves and being in the e-board of one, I tend to see that, and I can't wait to see the initiatives you're going to make.
And now, Kana.
Motion to move to voting procedures.
There's been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 35 to 1, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So if you don't mind waiting in the back, after the other confirmees are potentially confirmed, Associate Justice Colazo will be bringing you back to, what's it called? Swear you in. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kana.
Motion to postpone the confirmation of Sam Kwan Slaughter to next meeting.
There's been a motion to postpone Sam Kwan Slaughter's confirmation until our next scheduled meeting. Is there any objections? Seeing none. Oh, objection?
No, I'm just questioning. How come?
He spoke to me before the meeting, said you might not be able to stay this late today. There might be a conflict of schedules.
Okay. There's been a motion. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Thank you, Aiden. Next up, we have Joshua Conti for Senator for Engineering and Computer Science, seat 3. It's 3 minutes.
Good to start? All right. Good afternoon, Senators. Thank you for hearing yet another confirmation on this fine Thursday evening. Promise that my speech is short and straight to the point. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Joshua Conti. I'm here to express my interest in serving as Senator for the CSCS department. As a fourth-year computer science major who's most likely to become a fifth year, and a transfer student who became a knight in 2022, I believe with my history, I can bring a unique perspective to our Senate. Currently, I'm an active and proud member of Central Florida Rowing and Student for Exploration and Development, SEDS, where I've learned valuable skills such as teamwork, leadership, discipline, and while in the past I've been a part of the tennis club in Shep, where I've had the opportunity to connect with like-minded peers, contribute to the growth of these clubs. Given the opportunity to serve as a senator, my primary goal is to represent not only the registered student organizations at our university, but also the entire student population. I believe in the importance of engaging with the student population as a whole through the growth, through various platforms allowing for easier access to information, updates, and outreach. To reach my objective, I have a couple of committees in mind that I would like to take part of, if possible, such as the Financial Allocation for Organization Committee, where I can work towards RSOs receiving proper funding to succeed on their projects, and the Operation Review and Sanction Committee to make sure the fundings that are being given is being spent correctly. As an engineer, I personally don't have much experience within the SGA, aside from the 4-hour live streams from SGA that sneaks into my YouTube feed every Thursday night. But I'm eager to learn and make an effort to make our university a better place for students. I yield the remainder of my time.
All right. We are now in line for questioning. Are there any questions for the candidate? Samila?
First, I want to thank you, and that was a beautiful speech. So while you sit here, if you are approved in Senate, what are some initiatives or goals that you have personally that you want to push for?
One of them is like student outreach and information for like the CSCS department. We have a Discord channel, and I'm pretty sure like mostly every student on that or in that college department is within that Discord. It allows you to access or talk to other students within like different classes in your semester. I feel like if we have like a SGA sub channel on that Discord channel, it'd be easier for clubs to, reach senators for any information or like representation, or even for students to ask questions.
Warren?
How do you plan to manage your time between Senate and your academic responsibilities?
Waking up earlier. I could set aside things for the Senate. Like today, I can for rowing. I'm supposed to be at rowing practice, but I can always take a day off. I practice 6 days a week. It's not a problem, and I'm usually on campus most of the time, so I usually get my work done in between classes. I feel like I have a adequate enough time for the SGA.
Mm-hmm. And then Polito.
2 questions, if I may.
You may.
So good evening, Mr. Conti. My first question is to clarify, did you transfer from Miami-Dade College according to your resume?
Yes, sir.
All right, that leads well to my second question. How will you intend on representing transfer students at the university, because they are a very significant population that tends to go underrepresented? So I wanted to get some insight as to how you would go about representing that cohort of students.
As a transfer student, I could see how representation isn't like grand. I transferred. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone. So I feel like I don't know, hosting event. I don't know if that's even possible, to be honest. I'm sorry, but hosting transfer events for students so that they can get to meet each other. Just letting them know, like within your department, hey, if you have any questions or anything, you can always contact me here, or need help with anything.
Polito. Sorry.
If you do get confirmed, what committees or caucuses are you interested in joining and why?
For caucuses, I'm interested in the Veterans Caucus. I didn't see it on the UCF webpage. I just knew about it like a couple of weeks ago. I have a strong military background with family, not me personally, but I know many students. Like I'm like, hey, where'd you come from? They're like, oh, I just got out 4 years from the Marines. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. A lot of students I've met within my classes are also prior military. And for committees, like I said, the Financial Allocation Committee for organizations. That's about it, really. Just do.
Lucas.
Yeah, thank you for your speech and for being with us tonight. Who is a leader that you admire and that you'd like to emulate, and why?
Might sound messed up. I would say my dad's boss. I know it's weird, but this guy has like a crazy like leadership position like throughout his whole career. Went to the Air Force Academy, was a lieutenant colonel, fighter pilot. He was a director of NORAD for the military, and then he became my dad's boss when he joined the Secret Service, and he was the head of the aviation department of the Secret Service. So I feel like his duty to this country and all his leadership positions made an impact on me. He's a cool guy to talk to too, very knowledgeable. So.
Samilo.
Motion to move to debate.
Okay. There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Samilo, and then Caucus, and then Federico.
So yeah, again, the speech was very well said. He seems very knowledgeable about Senate, has obviously known that this is something that we do every Thursday night. Hopefully he's very active within his role here. I see no reason why we shouldn't approve this candidate. He seems very intelligent, and I can't wait to work hand in hand with him in some ways. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it brief. This candidate is well acquainted with the rules and the formalities of Senate, and I think they provide a good eye that represents students from the College of Engineering and Computer Science. I encourage you all to vote in favor.
I'll be speaking in favor of this candidate. I appreciate his varied background, and he seems passionate about the work he wants to do and knowledgeable and well-spoken. So I think he'd be great to have in here.
Kanal.
Motion to move to voting procedures.
There has been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 36-0-2, congratulations, you are now a senator.
Thank you.
Kanal.
Motion to postpone the confirmation of Camila Salvatore Matei indefinitely.
There's been a motion to postpone the Confirmation of Camila Salvatore Mate for Senator of Graduate Studies indefinitely. Are there any objections? Quiroga?
Did they say why?
Yeah, they just withdrew their application to join Senate.
Man, it was so good to have a third one. but
I know.
okay.
I was saying the same thing in my head. Are there any objections? Yes. There's no objections, so they will not be joining Senate, unfortunately. Graduate studies students are very, very busy, and so ELA Richmond has been in communication with the dean on trying to get them involved while allowing them to still be able to meet their requirements and be, a senator. So we're still trying on that end, but they are very busy. Yeah, you can see them nodding their head. So we appreciate that you're here, though. The commitment, it's really showing. Internal legislation. Notice of legislation on first reading. Internal Bill 5503 updates to Title, that's 10, 11, 12. Title 12, introduced by Pro Tempore DeMarla and Chair Yalamanchili, is hereby remanded to LJR. Resolutions. Resolution 5506 updates to Senate Rule 7, establishing a dean meeting excuse policy, introduced by ELA Richmond, is hereby remanded to LJR as well. Notice of legislation on third reading, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, bills. Internal Bill 5501 updates to Title 3, introduced by Pro Tempore DeMarla. Underneath this, you'll be able to find questions posed by students to Internal Bill 5501 in ENA open forum. So I will take a motion regarding this bill on second reading. Well, the proclamation in the bill, since it's on second reading. Samilo.
Motion for 5-minute speech, 7-minute questions, 7-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 5-minute speeches, 7-minute questioning, 7-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that stands. I'll do the timer since you're speaking, but go ahead when you're ready.
Hello, I hope everyone is doing well. So this bill arose from a situation that I encountered when I was trying to establish the Sergeant Aiden's duties. When looking at our statutes, there's nothing clear outlining them, leaving vagueness and not allowing their position to be used to its full effectiveness, as well as no regulations on their role, which I thought was a huge issue. So I also work with AG Moore on this to make sure the purpose of this legislation is clear and helping the Senate body. And then I made sure to, take their expertise on this as well as Brody's to make sure that, there were some concerns that this goes against sunshine law. It doesn't. It's legal. It doesn't restrict free speech, nothing like that. But I'll just quickly kind of go over the document and then just point out all the changes I made. So the first one is that we're allowing the Sergeant at Arms to be no confidence. If you feel that the Sergeant at Arms is not doing their, is there like an echo?
Oh, my bad.
Sorry. So, if you feel that the Sergeant at Arms is not doing their duty properly or not actually executing why they were put in that position, you can no confidence them. That was previously not an option in the past. So, once I picked a Sergeant at Arms, they would just have to be like that for the rest of the session. Like, there was nothing we could do. So, I just thought that was, not fair for the Senate body. So I added that part. There's some minor stuff that we just added to all the positions, just saying with respect to our governing documents to make sure that, everything we do is working for the Senate body. And then in the powers and duties of the Sergeant at Arms, that's the part I added. So we took stuff from our governing documents like Robert's rules and Senate rules and stuff like that. So all the duties that are outlined in this bill already exist. So whether or not we pass this bill, the Sergeant at Arms will be able to do everything outlined. What this bill does is put restrictions on that. Before, the Sergeant at Arms could do any of these powers. For example, one of them in Senate rules just states that the Sergeant at Arms can remove people from the chamber. But this bill actually puts an outline for that and puts restrictions and accountability. So I also added the definition of decorum. And then there's a tier penal system. So it won't be that, people might think that it's not that once you do tier 1, you automatically move to tier 2. It's not like that. You can stay in the same tier, but it's that if someone is saying something very harmful for the Senate body, there has to be a step we can take further other than just giving them a verbal warning if they don't stop. And this will be if they're attacking an identity group or something like that. So and then the third one is may result, because if we feel that the issue is too big, we may result in a notification of non-compliance. What the sergeant at arms does, whether it's establishing decorum or the tier 2 penal action, has to be confirmed by Speaker Holmes. They work together to establish decorum, and they have to follow what Speaker Holmes says is decorum. Additionally, I've also added the definition of decorum. So, a lot of measures to make sure that they're really doing their duty properly. And then they serve a term in congruence, which has already been, it's already there. And then I added the part where it's like complete any additional duties and responsibilities. I heard that there was a concern about that. The reason why I added that is if I feel that a senator is worried about, the way that the sergeant at arms approaches decorum, I want to be able to tell the sergeant at arms, you need to have a meeting with the senator. You're making the senator uncomfortable. That is the additional duties and responsibilities. I want to make sure that the sergeant at arms is going beyond their role and making sure that they're actually reaching out to senators to make sure that they understand what decorum is. If I want the sergeant at arms to have a decorum workshop, I want to be able to, say that is one of your responsibilities, and that is what Part 6 adds to it. So those additional duties and responsibilities as deemed appropriate and respect to our governing documents includes the role of the sergeant at arms. So if there is confusion about that, that's what it's for. And then before this, there was no resignation or removal process. So if the sergeant at arms, gets busy with school or has other extenuating circumstances and can't do it, there was no resignation process. They would just have to stay the sergeant at arms. And for example, and another situation would be if a senator came up to me and saying that, I don't think that the sergeant at arms is doing their duties properly, or they did this, to me, there was no way for me to remove them. So they would just stay in power the entire time, and there was really nothing I could do. So that's what 8 adds. And then we also just added a timeline to make sure that everything's being adhered to properly. Once again, the goal is really to just make sure the student body feels comfortable in the situation that they're voting in. There is a bunch of checks and balances. LGR looks over non-compliances. You now have the opportunity to do a no confidence. You can come to me. You can speak to them. I can, be like, you need to have a meeting with the senator. This bill honestly restricts the powers that have been there before, to make sure that, we are promoting a comfortable and safe Senate environment.
You can wrap it up.
Oh, okay. So yeah, with that, I really encourage you to take a deep look at it and ask me any questions. I'm more than willing to get your criticism and stuff.
We're now in line for questions. Let me look over who hasn't spoken as much. So first I'll go Donahue, Carter, then Costas.
For one of the initiatives that you mentioned, you said that in the event that a senator feels uncomfortable about the sergeant at arms' demeanor, you'll have them have a private conversation with that senator. Can you clarify what you meant by that?
Sorry, yeah, no, thank you for your question. But I didn't mean private. I meant I just said meeting, and with that can be mediated by either me, the speaker, or Brody, or we can find other avenues to discuss it. But I do want to make sure there is a way that I can tell the sergeant at arms, if a senator feels uncomfortable, we have to have a conversation about this. We can't. I want to make sure that there is a check for that. Does that clarify?
Yes, thank you. Who did I say, Carter?
In terms of decorum, I'm just curious if you have specific examples of decorum, because as I'm thinking decorum, even though it's in Robert's rules, it can be suggestive or subjective for some time. So I'd like some examples if you can.
Yeah, so I actually don't establish decorum. So this is kind of one of the checks and balances. The sergeant at arms enforces decorum on behalf of Speaker Holmes, or in conjunction, more on behalf. But with what Sierra says is decorum. So I actually don't really play a part in the sergeant at arms. That's one of the checks and balances. I picked the sergeant at arms for Sierra. So am I able to point that question to you, Sierra? That works. Or
Brody, am I allowed to answer? I mean, in a non-biased way. So is your question Can you repeat your question?
Like what your exact definition of decorum is and some examples.
For example, like what I said in the beginning of this meeting, like conduct yourselves as, you know, administration was back there. That's some type of decorum. When I stated that we won't, like, that I'm not going to allow for back and forth squabbles in, it was our very first meeting. Like, that's another outline of decorum. Another thing that I outlined for decorum was professional wear, whether that was your polo or business casual wear. So things like that, yeah. As well as talking out of turn. So there's also decorum that's outlined in Robert's Rules as well that isn't stated. Who did I say was next? Thank you, Caucus.
The first question is to Pro Tempore DeMarla. Can you elaborate on the amendment you made in section 304.8, Part A, Section 2, where you erased that Sergeant at Arms portion where you're discussing removing disruptive individuals? 304.8 A, Part 2.
Okay, so in ENA, if you looked at the minutes, there were individuals that were concerned with allowing the sergeant at arms to remove individuals by themselves. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that I listened to people who came to me with concerns about the legislation, because the purpose of this legislation is to, you know, better the Senate body and to make sure that everyone feels, you know, safe in it. So that is why I took it out per recommendation of the individuals that brought it up. Does that help?
Okay, next I'll go Pullman, Temple, Kanawha.
So I just wanted to see how this aligns with Robert's rules. If you can elaborate on that.
Yes, so we are governed by Robert's Rules, and all of this aligns right under. It fits within Robert's Rules, and it's already stated here that these are the rules. So I'm not adding any new rules. This is what Robert Rule says, and I'm adding more, I guess, regulation. Does that help answer?
Temple?
A few questions, if I may.
You may.
So regarding that, then my first question is, shouldn't this definition of decorum fall under Title II instead of Title III, because that's where the definitions for most of our terms come from?
Yes, I definitely do agree with that. However, it was brought to my attention from senators that, you know, they felt that they would be more comfortable with decorum, the definition of decorum being in this title. So these are one of the things you guys can vote on during debate if you would like it or not. Either way, whether it's in this or not, you still abide by, you know, the definition of Black's Law Dictionary. I believe that's what it's called. Sorry, I'm not poli-sci or anything. But because, you know, people brought it up to me as a concern, I wanted to make sure that I took that into account. So that's why I added it. Technically, it really doesn't need to be there. But I wanted to make sure that everyone felt comfortable by this legislation.
Two more questions. Mm-hmm. So my second to last question would be that, so considering that you basically have two methods of removing the sergeant at arms, either by no confidence or by you removing them, wouldn't it have been easier to have just a simple resignation system for them as opposed to just those two methods?
Do you mind what do you mean a resignation system?
So typically I'm going to try and explain this as best as I can because I'm very tired, but typically under certain positions, I believe, you can just say that if somebody seeks to resign, they resign. So why not just include a clause stating that a sergeant at arms can resign, and then you can thereby fill that position within 10 academic days?
It just says upon resignation or removal. So either I can remove them or I can resign them. For example, if the situation that maybe this would help clarify it is someone brings to me a concern that they don't feel comfortable bringing up in front of the student body. Maybe it's something a little bit more personal or private. And I feel that, you know, their actions are grounds for removal. I can do them myself if they don't feel comfortable bringing it up to the student body. Does that help clarify it?
A little bit, but my final question would be then that, considering the fact that despite the fact there have been discussion, explanations that the sergeant at arms' position is being more constrained, I personally find that the tier system does etch out more powers to them, and considering the fact that the powers and duties of the sergeant at arms is specified directly beneath.
Well, let's save this for debate.
No,
if that's your
I'll get to my
opinion.
question. I'll get to my question. Since it is under 304.6 and 304.7 duties and powers of the legislative assistants and pro temp reps, DPTs, why isn't there a system by which the sergeant at arms is confirmed by the Senate as well?
Well, that's because the sergeant at arms more of, I guess, like I according to the statutes, it's more aligned with, I pick someone so that I can check Sierra because she establishes the quorum. So that's the check and balance. And then that's how it is in like Robert's rules. And to answer the first part, sorry, let me think. You said something else in the first. Oh, you thought that it makes their power more. That's not true, because in Senate Rule 7, it just says that the sergeant at arms can remove a person from the chamber. It doesn't tell them that they have to send a warning first. It doesn't tell them any of that. It doesn't say that. It doesn't give any of those stipulations. Like in Senate rules, according to that, the sergeant at arms can just remove an individual from the get-go, which I don't think is fair.
So questioning has elapsed. I'll take a motion to extend. Donahue?
Extend by 3 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend questioning by 3 minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Was that your last question? Okay. Are you good? Okay. Kanal?
If I may.
You may.
All right. So first off, in the internal bill 304.8 section A, subsection 2, it says that the sergeant at arms can remove disruptive individuals. I believe that's still, yes, that is still in the bill. Removal is UCFPD's job. I was wondering how it wouldn't be dangerous for one of us, let alone one person, the sergeant at arms, to try to do their job without adequate resources and training. What would be in place to actually help them do that versus PD?
The sergeant at arms doesn't physically remove someone. By removal, it's we ask, will you please leave the chambers? You're harming the Senate body. Or we would call UCFPD. The sergeant at arms is not like physically removing someone.
Okay.
No, you're totally good. No, that's a valid question. Thank you for asking.
And the second question, let me get sorry, I'm going through the titles here.
Come on, Kanal. There people have questions.
I'm sorry. I have many. I know I run out very rarely. Okay, in Title 3, 304.6, the duties and powers of the President Pro Tem, Section 5, Part A says, quote, appoint at most 2 deputies pro tem from among the Senate student body Senate membership, and that these appointments must be confirmed. First of all, how would we distinguish that from the sergeant at arms? Because it deliberately mentions the sergeant at arms as a separate entity from this in subsection 7 of that same section within Title 3. So I was wondering why the internal bill suggests that you can delegate, the pro tem could delegate any powers in general to the sergeant at arms who is not one of their deputies.
So the legislation doesn't say that. I can get why the wording might be tricky. The trick is that complete any additional duties and responsibilities. The original legislation says that any of my responsibilities and duties, I can give it to my deputies, specifically mine. This language says that any additional as deemed appropriate, but with respect to our governing documents. So the part, which is why I added with respect to our governing documents. So this would be the situation where I feel that, the sergeant at arms, the senator comes up to me saying that, I'm confused about why I got decorum, blah, 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 blah. Without this, I wouldn't really be able to be like, hey, Aiden, can we all have a conversation about this? Maybe I also disagree with it. And I'd be able to say, hey, you need to have this meeting, or this senator feels a certain way, we need to fix this, or many people are coming to me with these issues. So the part that it says any additional duties and responsibilities with respect to our governing documents also includes Robert's rules, which highlights the sergeant at arms responsibilities. They would not be doing anything that I would be doing. Does that help clarify?
I believe it'll clarify further with my next question. I'm just a bit concerned here about, I know checking takes place within the branch as well, but since the pro tem has the exclusive ability to pick a sergeant at arms without the full Senate voting on the candidate, in theory that creates a conflict of interest here, which would put both the sergeant at arms and the body in general in a vulnerable position, because if you can delegate certain authorities like that or tell them, hey, I don't agree with this, hey, I'd like to meet with you and this person, it does create a conflict of interest again between the pro tem and the sergeant at arms. And I was just wondering what check is in place for the full Senate against that.
The non-compliance and also the fact that I don't handle decorum. Literally, I just made this legislation. Aiden doesn't work under me at all. He works under Sierra. So if you would want, we can say that like if you feel comfortable by the Senate President pro tempore or Senate President, that would also work. Literally, I just appointed out. I based it on whoever took initiative on decorum and came up to me and talked about it. And then I just hand him off to Sierra for lack of better terms.
All right, questioning has elapsed. Is there a motion to extend questioning by unlimited, since we have so many questions like at this point? Okay. Was that all your questions? Okay. Lacasse?
Okay, it was just super quick because it's just kind of like a technical thing. In the 304.2A 1 and 2, I think you just have to also add like the term sergeant at arms in there as well, because it just says a vote of no confidence on the Senate President pro tempore or a deputy pro tempore, and it doesn't include sergeant at arms. So I think that just needs to be included with those two sections.
Oh, is that your amendment?
Wait, no, it's mine. It should already be added as a possible amendment.
No, it's added to the title of it for where the A is, but it's not added to the two paragraphs underneath it with 1 and 2.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll add that.
Are there any other questions regarding this legislation? Carter?
I just have a quick question about the penal system. Are you able to provide a brief explanation of how it works, how the duration of the tiers work? Either to you or Sierra, I don't know who that question would be directed toward.
I'll do it based on what my thing is, but at the end of the day, Sierra will be establishing decorum. But what it works is that we'll basically be in tier 1 the entire time. I really don't see us a reason to move to tier 2. Verbal warning. So we'll just give verbal warnings if we feel that the person is getting super aggressive. And by we, I mean Speaker Holmes and the sergeant, not me. I'm not involved in this, guys. I'm separating myself. But if, maybe I'll just say they, if they feel that, the person's getting hostile, if people are feeling harmed in the situation, that's when we move to a tier 2 and we're like, will you please remove yourself from the chambers? If the individual does not comply and we still feel that it's just ringing my ears a little bit. No, you're good. If we feel that the individual is still harming the Senate body, that's when we'll call you CFPD. Does that help clarify? You can ask another question.
I just meant to ask, how long does the tier, does the tier, are there tiers only within the one Senate meeting, or are they for further Senate?
Yeah, they're within every Senate meeting. So it restarts every meeting. Thank you for asking that, because I don't think I pointed that out. So it restarts every time. So it's not like if you get decorumed once here, you can't get decorum 2 meetings down the road.
Any other questions? Caucus and then Kanal?
I was going to motion to go to debate unless you were going to as well.
You have a question, Kanal? Okay.
Circling back to what we were talking about earlier about decorum not being clearly defined in Senate Rule 3, last meeting I did ask what version of Robert's Rules are we using, because I know we circle back to that as defining decorum, and I didn't get an answer on that then. If I can't get an answer on that now, I would just like some clarification on why the sergeant at arms would have full discretion to remove someone based on that tier system, because it is a loose term.
2 things, 2 ways to answer that. The first one is that they don't have a way to remove them by themselves. So they have to either get permission from the chair or the student body senate as a whole. So they cannot do it on their own. Or actually in this title, at least in Robert's Rules, it might be a bit different, but in this title, Brody, if you want to answer the Robert's Rules question, because I think that you might have, you're able to word it a lot better than I can.
Sorry, give me the question again.
I just last meeting I asked what version of Robert's rules that we are using, because I know there are a lot of them, and that we always circle back whenever someone asks about defining decorum more solidly. We circle back to what is in Robert's rules.
Gotcha. That's a good question. I would probably have to do a little bit of research to make sure I fully understand all the aspects of your question. But generally, I refer to the little book that was in my office when I got the job, and it is the 10th edition, if that's helpful. I do think there is an 11th edition, but there's a 12th now. All right, well, the book that I have is the 10th edition, and that is generally what I reference. If you all want to spend some money and buy me the 12th edition, I will happily use it.
Would there be a way for us to make it technical in here, just listing one version of Robert's rules, just in case?
In the reason why, okay, so how do I say this? Like, if we do that, then every year, and this has nothing to do with this bill specifically, for more of like the other statutes, we'd have to update every time Rob. Sorry, you're scaring me. Like, I feel like we'd have to update every year. I'm not going to be here next year. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Title II does say the student government parliamentary authority shall be the current edition of Robert's rules.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I was about to say, I was like, if we do that, we might have to edit everything.
We should be operating on the 12th.
Okay. Chair DeCara has the 12th edition open. If you want to share that with the Senate and teams. Okay, who else had their hand up? Okay, Donahue.
Oh, I was just going to say, I can also drop a copy of it. That's a PDF that I have online if anyone would like that.
Okay. And just to let you know, I know this is a lot. So you will be seeing this on third reading as well. And you're allowed to make amendments. You don't have to be, for any legislation, you can make amendments. You don't have to be the sponsor. So you don't have to ask Akila to add the amendment. You can do it yourself. Duke, I'll go Duke because they haven't talked yet.
Hi, Akila. I just wanted to ask, I know that you said that the Sergeant of Arms doesn't have full discretion to remove someone from the chamber and that it's either deferred to the Speaker or the Senate. I understand how that would work with the Speaker, but how would that work with the Senate? It'd be a vote or something? I'm just confused about that part.
From my understanding,
You can
okay,
yield.
our Sergeant at Arms can clarify.
Like just in Roberts in general, I was like looking up scenarios of this, but basically it's like, let's say, it's like the word like I've heard in the past, they use like censure. Basically, let's say like a certain X senator is saying something harmful to Y senator. A certain senator can motion. Can you turn off your mic real quick?
I'm so sorry.
They can motion saying that the student body is like I don't even have to be the one saying that. This you yourself could be. I feel that this person is speaking harmful against X senator or X Republic, basically saying harmful comments. You as the student body can motion to censure their own thing. This is just like I have the ability to, but in the end, like I can motion it, but y'all still get to vote on it. Because usually it's like, let's say like I've made a verbal warning and it continues. Another way of removing or just like censure, basically just they're not allowed to speak on, like they're not, basically I motion to censure X Senator X. You guys would vote on that topic. It's basically, I'm not the one just going, I don't want you to speak anymore. I go, I'll motion it. I'm probably in the vote, I'll abstain too because I've motioned it, but really it's up to y'all.
Yeah, and so just to add on to that is an excellent explanation. I'm going to refrain from using the word censure just because that is referred to as a different thing in your statutes. But yes, at any point, any of you could say, I move to have this person removed, and then you can debate on that and vote on that, right? For any person in the room, be it a guest, be it a senator, be it me, frankly, if you feel like they're causing a problem and disrupting your business for whatever reason that you believe warrants removal from the chamber, that is the process you would go through.
Okay. We'll go Kringle and then we'll come back to you. Kringle?
I was going to motion and move to debate.
I won't see that. Go ahead, Kanal.
I was just wondering, I guess this is directed to the speaker, if I may. Why are we pushing this through on third reading as well tonight, since it is not a fiscal bill. It is not time sensitive. I was just wondering because
I hate to interrupt you, but I'm not pushing it through third. I was basically saying like, I know you have a lot of questions, and if you have more, and if you come up with more, that's okay, because we will see it on third eventually, not tonight. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No problem. I'll never push legislation unless it's like fiscal, because I shouldn't have an opinion on anything.
And may I make a motion then?
Yeah, you may.
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate on Internal Bill 5501. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. We will, nobody? All right. Caucus and then Temple.
I think this is an important bill. I'm probably going to be voting in favor. I would like to hear more debate before I make up my mind officially. But I wanted to say that the previous 2 years I served in Senate, the way someone would pick the sergeant of arms, let's say Sierra's like, oh, hey, you come sit up here. You're not the sergeant of arms for like the rest of the meeting or like a quarter of this meeting. And then after that, the sergeant of arms would go back to their seat. Or the next meeting, there wouldn't even be a sergeant at arms. It was very all over the place. And so I think it's good that we have this bill being passed or being seen to solidify some roles for that.
I'll go Temple, and then Matal, you had your hand up, and then I'll go Kanawha.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence on this legislation because I completely understand the rationale of the pro temp's office for doing this, and I very well remember the memories of the 53rd and 4th sessions. It's just there are a lot of lingering questions on my end, especially those that I had brought up during our questioning period. So until there is some more clarifications on those particular areas, I frankly have no idea on how to vote for this.
Oh, you still may direct questions if you would like. Okay. Matal?
Yeah, I would just like to echo the sentiments of Senator Costas. How do you say it? Wait, what? Costas? Okay, sorry. But that I think that there was definitely kind of a hole, and not a hole, but like definitely kind of just a gray area in the statutes where it's just like, as Pro Tem DeMarlo said, the Sergeant at Arms is just there in the statutes, like briefly mentioned, but there's not really like an outline of duties. Like they can just remove a person from the Senate chamber, and like Pro Tem DeMarlo said, that was basically like they could do it at their full, like whenever they wanted to. So I think that having this like tier system and having the outlines of specific duties, I think is definitely a really good step in the right direction. And I think it will benefit the body going forward with like future years of the Sergeant at Arms duties and even the selection process.
What did I say, Kanawha?
I do appreciate the direction that this bill would take the role of Sergeant at Arms, which previously was mostly ceremonial role. I believe it could be beneficial. However, I want to note that it did not pass LJR when it was remanded to that committee, and questions were posed by students in open forum, as well as senators in LJR and ENA, that were answered. But again, look at all the amendments to this bill. That's a lot, and I would, frankly, I'll vote no, because I would like to see those cleaned up before we do this, because again, this is a big bill and it's important, and I want to make sure we're sure of it and we're not asking all these questions before we actually pass it into effect.
Point of information, or
yeah, the point of information is we can vote on them now, like in the meeting, instead of having to draft a whole new bill.
May I clarify? It's a lot, and it does connect thoroughly to now Title II as well as Title III. And I personally would appreciate more time to look through where it coincides with those and where it might be in conflict, just so that we're sure, again, before we make an error in passing it.
Carter, Lacasse, Samillo.
I'll keep this quick because it's getting late. I agree with other senators that this is very good at clarifying. When I first read the statutes, Sergeant Arms' position was very confusing. There was no explanation as to what the position is. Also, I'm kind of glad it's explanation because I remember Aiden sitting up there. I mean, Chair DeGarrett, and I had no idea why he was sitting up there or doing decorum. So I'm glad to know that there's a system, but I'm also concerned with the passage in LJRs and also the lack of voting for the position. I understand that it's the way it is in statutes. It's just a concern I have.
Who did I say? It's getting late, so my brain is mush. Lacasse.
Yeah, so basically I wanted to say I feel like that this is necessary because, you know, it's kind of been something that's like informally existed in our Senate rules, but now we're kind of like making it official. And I feel like that's better than just kind of being like, oh, these rules kind of are there, but, you know, we kind of follow them. They're kind of, but now we have like something that lays out like, hey, this is the system. I feel like the pro temp has done a great job at kind of acknowledging the feedback that has been gotten, because I know like myself as well, like initially looking at it, there was some like, you know, hesitation just because it felt very vague. And I will say like, you know, of course there's still vagueness. Like I feel like the one like hang up I have is the section referring to disruptive individuals, because, you know, disruptive is very vague, but at the same time, like no one definition will ever truly satisfy what that means. And so I feel like that's kind of necessary sometimes, because sometimes it is based off like the judgment of, you know, the chair and how that wants to be handled. I believe right now we have a very competent, you know, leadership. There's not like a fear of some type of authoritarian rule where Sierra is going to clamp down on everybody. You're not allowed to say anything, or else DeCara will kick you out.
Thanks for the idea.
So I feel like it truly has gotten a lot of edits that made it, you know, significantly better than what it once was. And if we do see like later on, oh, we made a lapse in judgment, we are able to amend this again. There's a process for removing bad, quote unquote, sergeant at arms. I feel like there's a lot of like checks and balances that go into this. So I feel like that we have ended up with a pretty solid bill at the end of the day.
All righty. I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't start the timer, so I want to say it's been like about 6 minutes. So I'm just gonna take a motion to extend debate because I see reoccurring. So like I'll take a motion, but unless you would like me to, Duke.
Motion to extend debate by unlimited.
There's been a motion to extend debate by unlimited. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Congrats, it's unlimited. Who did I say after Lacasse? I said Samillo.
So I do like that in the bill, things that were addressed in both LJR and ENA were put into account, and a lot of technical things were brought up. However, I do want to mention the fact that the Sergeant of Arms is an elected member in the U.S. Senate, and we as a whole tend to represent the United States Senate. So with like the way that we go about like our duties and responsibilities here, we tend to mock the United States Senate as like with our committees and protocols and things like that. So I just want to put that information out there, as well as just thank Akila for listening to our voices and the things that we have mentioned and making those changes as much as we can. And then I also want to agree with other senators that there is some vagueness. However, we have this on third reading as well. We have a week time to really look over this and figure out what we want to do and how we want to move forward. We all have a voice here, so I hope that we all use it. And with that, I will be voting in favor because I feel like there's a lot of things that this can be helpful for. Not only just giving the Sergeant of Arms more of a position that has more of outlined rules, but also, like Akila had stated in her speech, these things already apply. Like, this is just kind of putting it within us as our Senate's statutes and constitutes and things like that, and putting more of a foot down here at UCF. So with that, I'm done.
Wait. Is it in response to her? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there any other debate? And then I'll go in order then. I'll do Sandlin, Federico, and then Akila.
I just want to address some things that have been said about the ruling of LJR. I will say that I was one of the members of that committee that did vote against this bill, but that was simply from a place of I wasn't quite convinced of the necessity, and it did seem very well put together, but it seemed to me to be incomplete. But I will say with the amendments that are proposed in the bill, And with all that has been added and all that has been clarified in this meeting and in other conversations with AG Moore and Chair DeCara, I do think it is a necessary piece of legislation just to have more clarity in the roles of the roles of this body, and so I will be voting in favor.
Federico.
I think that this is a super important piece of legislation. I did notice on my first reading of Title III before kind of getting into the Senate stuff that this was a part that was lacking. And I think it's kind of embedded in the very nature of Senate to be able to amend bills and, kind of reread them as they formulate into something different and obviously vote on it as a body. And I think that we have amended it to a point where, it's something, obviously that I agree with because I'm speaking in favor of it. But I do think it's important to establish the rules and the regulations for the job as well as, I guess that's it.
Pro Tempore.
So I kind of wanted to touch on, I know there were some concerns about LGR's vote, which was 4-4-0. For clarification. So after that meeting, I made sure that I took into the debate into account as well as the ENA, questions asked during ENA. So the original document does not have all the amendments that I added. So I really wanted to make sure I listened to people's voices. So I made a lot of the amendments purely based on the feedback I received. I really made this document, this legislation with the intent of, supporting the Senate body. So that's kind of what I wanted to clarify. And then I also would like to move to see my amendments as a block, which are the red ones, if that helps.
There's been a motion to, this was put in the amendments of adding the sergeant at arms in there, or the whole entire vote of no confidence.
The sergeant at arms.
Oh, then I'll see it as a technical since it was a consensus to keep it consistent throughout the bill. 3.48 and then 8A, B. Okay, so there's been a motion to see Pro Tempore DeMarla's amendments as a block. Are there any objections? So I just want to clarify before we go into it, because this is only the second time we've done this, I think. Excuse me. So we are still in debate on the bill, but we've kind of gone into a sub thing. So now we're going to look at the amendments, the suggestions created by Pro Tempore DeMarla, and Pro Tempore DeMarla is going to give a speech. There's going to be questioning and debate within that with the amendment specifically, not the bill itself. And then once a vote is made, we will go back to the debate of the bill itself. So all questioning and debate and speeches need to be about the amendments. So I'll take a motion regarding this. Sandlin.
Motion for 3-minute speeches, 3-minute questioning, 3-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, 3-minute questioning, 3-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there.
Thank you. So these amendments are the ones I made based on feedback I received. There was a concern about, the sergeant at arms being able to remove people at their will in the language in this title. So based on that, I removed it. I know I had a senator come up to me and say, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if the definition of decorum was added to this. And all of these I've worked with AG Moore on. And she knows our statutes like the back of her hand. So I trust her with my life regarding legislation. So I added that. I changed the word from will to may because, I want to leave it a little vague because every situation is different and I can't apply it to every situation. And then I should have added this the first time. I thought I did, but I wanted to just talk about how I would remove the sergeant at arms if someone did come up to me with an issue. And I yield the rest of my time.
We are now in line for questioning. Are there any questions regarding the amendments? Temple?
I guess relating to the the question regarding the definition of decorum being added here instead of Title II, wouldn't it still have to be added to Title II regardless because it is now considered a term in statutes? That can either be to the pro temp or to Brody.
Brody can help answer this after, but my understanding is that since that term already applies to us, there's not really a reason, but I might be wrong. So ask Brody if you don't mind.
As far as I understand, which I could be wrong, you only have to define the things that you want to specifically define. I believe Title II, I can go check, but I believe Title II says anything not specifically defined here, the definition that's within Black's Law Dictionary shall be used. So that definition, especially when pulled from Black's Law Dictionary, is in effect regardless. So yeah, you only have to define the things that you want to specify more specifically.
Any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to go to debate? We're now there. Lacasse.
Yeah, again, as I kind of said in my debate, like in general, I feel like that these amendments kind of are what saved the bill. They clearly were like, there was a lot of consideration done. There's a lot of conversations with both students and senators alike to kind of come to an agreement on like how to make this bill better, how to make sure that, there's not concerns about it being like, a Star Wars-esque like power grab somehow where, someone just claims the powers of an emperor. It's very limiting. It provides, votes of no confidence while also making sure that it's still a role that can do something. So I feel like that these amendments are kind of necessary to this bill, and I'm in favor of them.
Anyone else? Samilo?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the block of amendments proposed by Pro Tempore DeMarla. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 35 to 2, the block of amendments passes. We are still in debate on internal bill 5501. Hamid.
Motion to see my amendment as a technical.
Which one is that?
It's at the very bottom. It's like the word 10 next to the 10 in parentheses.
Got it. I'll see it. Sandlin.
Motion to see my amendment.
Which is that?
It's in 304.8. And it's number 8 and it's in green.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's been a motion to see Vice Chair Sandlin's amendments as a block. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. I'll take a motion. Samilo?
2-minute speech, 2-minute question, 2-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 2-minute speeches, 2-minute questioning, 2-minute debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Sandlin?
So I just added this line just to further clarify the process for removal of the sergeant at arms if deemed necessary. I thought it would be important to add this as there are other parts in the bill that refer back to the rules or to the other rules that we abide by in other forms. And I thought this would be necessary to further clarify the role and procedures that take place in regards to the role of sergeant at arms. I yield the rest of my time.
Are there any questions? Temple?
Which procedural process in statutes are you referring to regarding this amendment?
The process it's outlined in Title II, I believe. It's Chapter 201, statutory definitions, and you see the different definitions and then the penalties are laid out in different parts of the bill. Yes.
Hamid?
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but like, would you be okay with capitalizing the T and the and adding a period after statutes?
There was, yes, but there's a comma after removal, or there should be.
Whatever that is, it's a technical.
Okay.
Whatever it is. Anyone else in questioning? Seeing none, is there a motion to go to debate? We're now there. Similo, Lagas.
If it's already stated somewhere else, I feel like there's no reason for us to kind of just further explain, like, hey, like we already mentioned this before. I feel like it's a good addition just to kind of explain further, as Sandlin said, just to further explain kind of thing. So I see no reason why we should vote against this.
Lucas.
May I retain?
You may.
Yeah, kind of echoing what Chair Samila said. It's just kind of a logical addition. It's not like extreme or anything like that, just kind of referring back to other things. And with that, motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the block of amendments proposed by Vice Chair Sandlin. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. And whoever voted last, wow, I waited here for a minute. Please vote. Like, with a vote count of 36 to 0 to 3, the block of amendments pass. We are still in debate on Internal Bill 5501. If there aren't any, I'll do a motion myself. Samilo?
Do we have to see, I believe this is Reese, is that your strike through?
I struck through one. We were asking about it and questioning.
Yeah,
So
I just wasn't
that's
sure
it.
if like in questioning we already approved this or if that's something that we need to see.
We don't need to see it. It can be put up for discussion for third reading, correct, Brody? Unless, Reese, you want to see it right now.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a stomach ache, so no.
Yeah, no, it's making a suggestion on the document is not the same as making a motion to amend the document. So unless somebody moves to amend the bill, then that's
It's still there. Yeah. So like it's like 10:30 already. So if you want to wait till next week to see it, we can do that. Thanks for pointing that out, Samilo. Is there, Temple.
Seeing no other hands, move to vote on Internal Bill 5501.
There's been a motion to vote on Internal Bill 5501. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. With a vote count of 32 to 2 to 4, Internal Bill 5501 passes on second reading. Proclamations. Proclamation 5506, proclamation recognizing October 16th through the 20th as National Transfer Week, introduced by Chair DeCara. Chair DeCara, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
I do from right
Mhm.
here. Am I good to start whenever? Oh wait, didn't the motion like time?
So when we went to notice of legislation on second reading, I did an overall motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Hello, Senate. I stand before you today to advocate for passing this proclamation in support of National Transfer Student Week. This is a week that holds great significance to me as a transfer student from Valencia and for our diverse student body at the University of Central Florida. And it is our responsibility to acknowledge and celebrate the invaluable contributions of transfer students to our campus community. Transfer students play a vital role in the fabric of our university. They bring with them unique experiences, perspectives, and talents that enrich our academic social environment. These students have made the courageous decision to leave their previous institutions, often in pursuit of academic or personal growth, and have chosen UCF as their new academic home. Their presence reflects a commitment to higher education, resilience, and adaptability, which are qualities we should commend and embrace. National Transfer Student Week provides a perfect opportunity to recognize and honor these individuals. By passing a proclamation in support, we can send a clear message that UCF student government values and appreciates the contributions of transfer students. It will also encourage a sense of belonging and inclusion, promoting a more cohesive and welcoming campus atmosphere. And recognizing National Transfer Student Week, events throughout the week will be held to inform potential transfer students and events honoring current ones. By highlighting their experiences and challenges, we can identify ways to enhance their academic journey and ensure their seamless integration into the UCF community. The initiatives I plan to follow in this proclamation are the advocacy of transfer student services and their success, to help inform students know that there are programs open to them such as Tau Sigma, the Honor Society, and then the Transfer Peer Nights program, and many more, and to let these transfer students know that they are welcome here no matter what initial institution they started from. This proclamation is a small gesture, but its impact can be significant. It shows we stand in solidarity with our transfer students and acknowledge the importance of their presence on our campus. It's an opportunity for us to foster unity and collaboration among all students. I ask you to support this proclamation as it aligns with our university's values of diversity, inclusion, and a commitment to the success of all students. Let us officially recognize and celebrate National Transfer Student Week to demonstrate our unwavering support for these valuable members of our UCF family. I yield my time.
Federico?
Is there any specific reason why you picked the 16th through the 20th?
That's like the nationally recognized one. It's usually the third week of October. So it actually changes. One thing I was questioning about this earlier was like, why don't we just do it every third week of October? But the point is that we constantly do proclamations to remind the people that these are being sent to, that we should honor the transfer students that are here at UCF.
Any other questions, Lacasse? And then Temple?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's any specific events being held on campus for this.
So throughout the week, basically from Monday to Friday, there's to be virtual sessions of each college. There's basically information of their programs, their certificates, majors, minors, whatever. It's basically to the Direct Connect programs, includes Valencia, Seminole State, College of Central College of Central Florida. But basically, it's a way for them it's a virtual event. They're going to go there. They're going to see it's basically an information session. But Wednesday is Unite the Knights, which is for current UCF students. And it's kind of a way of honoring the transfer students that are now here. There's a lot of stuff going on. And it's about to get these new transfer students, they may be here for as freshmen, but this will allow them to figure out, we're tabling there. They'll learn more about student government there. There's also Tau Sigma tabling there. A lot of different resources, such as SARC, and also literally student associations will also be there to show them that we're here for y'all. You are also UCF students and be a part of it.
Temple.
Unfortunately, this is not related to the proclamation, but a question to you. Did you bring the new senators into president voting?
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, Senator Torres Descua. Is that how you say it? Desqua. You got to say president voting.
President voting.
So noted at 10:36 p.m. Who else was it? Senator Conti.
President voting.
So noted at 10:36 p.m. My apologies and thank you. Continue with questioning. Samilo?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate on Proclamation 5506. Seeing none, we're now there. Carter, Temple, Samilo.
This is a very good bill, especially to recognize I was a transfer student. Making sure that transfer students know what resources are on campus is very important. When I transferred, I had no idea there was this much things on campus that were available to me and for me to learn about. So I will be voting in favor.
All right. Temple.
Question to you, I suppose.
Yes.
Will the block of amendments that consist of mine and Pro Tem Marla's amendments to the title be considered a technical?
Yeah, it will.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then may I debate?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as I said with, ironically enough, the confirmation of Senator Conti's appointment, of course, I will be voting in favor of this piece of legislation. Like I said, transfer students are a very underrepresented and very under-recognized cohort within this community. And I applaud Chair DeCara for taking lead on this initiative to bring more attention to this cohort of students within UCF. So I encourage you all to vote in favor of this piece of legislation.
All right. Samela?
May I retain?
You may.
So there was a lot of research that went into this. Sorry, that was like loud. There was a lot of research that went into this proclamation, also a lot of hard work, and a lot of research related to the people at the bottom mostly, but also like the numbers, things like that. There's no reason why we shouldn't approve this. Transfer students are a good majority of us. As you see, there was numbers literally put in this proclamation. They should be recognized, and we as UCF SG should recognize them. So I will be voting in favor, and I hope you all do the same.
All right. Oh, we're now in line for voting.
Yeah, sorry, move to vote.
Yeah. There has been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. You can vote, yeah. With a vote count of 39 to 0, Proclamation 5506 passes on second reading. Please get us out of here before 11. Senate quorum, Vice Chair Pintel.
So Night Hacks hosted its hackathon from October 8th to the 10th, and it was a huge success with a 700 plus student turnout. I linked an article that talks more about it, but this was like the biggest one they've had so far, and it was a resounding success. So just want to acknowledge that.
Temple.
I believe that there, Pro Tem DeMarla had a message before me.
Sorry, so sorry. Very important business. What was your question?
I believe Pro Tem DeMarla had a message before mine.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday. Oh, not happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Lacey. I love ya.
Temple.
Right. So on the subject of Robert's Rules of Order, and to beat Donahue to the punch, I put in the PDF for Robert's Rules of Order, the 12th edition, into the Senate forum, so you don't have to go out and shell like $20-$30 for it, although I probably would have done that myself.
Are there any other senators wishing to speak during Senate forum? Excuse me, seeing none. Oh, wait. Yeah, Takara.
As I said in my proclamation, there's an event called Unite the Knights. It's going to be at the Reflection Pond. As I said before, like a lot of people have already been reached out and we're already probably tabling. So I recommend that you guys show out. It means a lot for students and it's a great tabling event. So next Wednesday, I think it's like like half day type of thing. But once I get like a full on like graphic, because I'm supposed to get one, I'll like put in the general channel.
Matal?
Is tabling open for RSOs? Like all RSOs? Question mark.
I'm be real with you. So I kind of like help like put the list together of who they asked. And I kind of just put like more general stuff. So you could probably reach out, which I think is the transfer centers running it. So it's UCF Connect. You can reach out if you could. I don't see why they would say no. I don't see why they wouldn't want y'all there to, reach out and stuff. But personally, I don't know. I just kind of be like I made a list of general people that they should invite. That was one student government and like other like resources, but I didn't really put specific RSOs.
Anyone else? I'm a pro tempore.
I put this in the chat, but also send me what your birthday is because I have a huge calendar and I'm trying to put everyone's birthday on there so I don't miss it.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Also, I just want to mention I will not be in on Monday. So if you need anything, tell me by tomorrow because I am not going to answer any message. And I stand by that. Like I say that, but then I answer it. But I'm for real this time. Like I'm not answering anything Monday through Friday. After that, you can hear back from me. But I also will not be here. I won't be here Thursday either because I'm going to represent our branch in Texas at the Big 12 Student Government Conference. So do you like, oh my goodness. Nothing special, but do you like Morissette has actually been helping me plan the slide that we're presenting thanks to CRT and FAO for all their hard work because it will be presented to the other schools to show how UCF is so much better than them. So yeah, but yeah, once Monday hits, like that team message is gonna be on delivered for a long time. But yeah, anyone else? All right, Senate deliberations. Oh, you had a Senate forum, Carter?
No, I had a question for
Mhm.
you. Did you receive the email?
Yes, I did receive your email, and whatever you sent me will be worked on tomorrow and submitted by tomorrow. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. I forgot to put that in my announcements. I apologize. Senate deliberations? No. Advisors report, Brody.
All right. Not a lot for me. It is the end of the pay period. So if you're in a paid role, please submit your time. Otherwise, you won't get paid, and that'll be sad for you. Yeah, no, actually, that's it for me. Yep. All right. Senator shout-outs. Let's do them. Ben.
I want to give a major shout out to Chair Yalaman Chili. They're always killing it in LJR, and I just want to commend them especially for coming in today despite feeling horrible. Y'all don't understand. They were not feeling good at all, and they still came in here, told us about Gerald Ford, and left. That's the kind of dedication that they bring to this body each and every day. And I just want to share my appreciation for them.
All right. Love it. Yeah, Lacey.
Shout out to Chair Temple for always having the best GAP meetings. I like to take after Chair Temple a lot for my meetings, so thank you.
The look of terror on Ethan's face when she said his name and he was not prepared for it was just, that made the night for me. Thank you. Danny.
I want to shout out Pro Tempore Damalo because she took 2 of the fiscal committee meetings when all 3 of them decided to caucus tonight. So that was helpful.
All right, Sebastian.
I want to shout out Senator Butler for getting us through FAO in like less than or close to 30 minutes. So we really sped through that caucus time. So thank you for that.
All right. Yeah, Rihanna.
Shout out to all the new senators. Glad to have you here. Shout out to Chair Temple for being an amazing chair of GAP. You're doing a lot of great work, and also so is Chair Campbell. Thank you so much for everything you do for Disability Caucus. It's great.
All right, Jason.
Shout out to one of my favorite vice chairs, Vice Chair Vasquez, because she really slayed that meeting in SBA when she had to chair. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, she was a lifesaver. I was really in the trenches with my 2 engineering midterms. Like, I'm like she served so hard.
All right, Laurel.
Vice Chair Vasquez too, but she's always tabling.
All right, Nico.
All right. Also, shout out to Vice Chair Vasquez slaying that meeting as well, and also to Chair Hamid for slaying his midterm as well.
All right, Kylie.
Kind of just wanted to shout out CRT real quick. We have officially hit 250 allocations and bills, which is crazy. Like, to think of the fact that we've helped that many students and like RSOs is mind-boggling. But so shout out to them. 1. You're so cute, Adam. Anyways, 2, I wanted to give a shout out to the new senators. Thank you for coming out, showing out, doing your thing. You guys slayed. We really appreciate you guys sitting in those chairs today. You have no idea. And then last, shout out to our advisors for doing everything that they do every single day and just being so intelligent and insightful.
Thanks. Gabriella.
Okay, I kind of have a bunch of people. First, shout out to the new senators. Looking forward to seeing all that you guys do. And then do you like Morissette? She works very hard. Sierra does a great job at supporting everyone. Shout out Vice Chair Vasquez again, because she works really hard in GAP and SBA. She's been tabling every time for GAP. Very good at taking initiative. Love her. And then shout out to Senator Federico. Super cool, very nice. Did a great job today with it being his first full Senate meeting. Shout out Senator Polera, the less cool Senator Polera. Really proud of him for working really hard and getting like acclimated to Senate. Yeah, I guess he's kind of cool.
Okay, we're getting there. Okay, Senator Carringle always has a smile on his face, and it's just so nice. Ila Richmond works so hard. ELA, right? I'm losing it. Sorry. ELA Richmond works so hard. Ila Pullman, she's great, works really hard, and has the prettiest eyes. And then lastly, everybody in Gap, because you guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I just want to shout out my own caucus real quick and the 3 people that are in it. Thank you for still being here.
We love it. All right. Yeah, Rihanna.
Yeah, I just also want to shout out Disability Caucus. Please join. We meet on Wednesdays at 1:30. It's hybrid. Just please.
All right. Akila.
I will also shout out Disability Caucus. They put a lot of work behind the scenes. You don't always have to identify with the group to join a caucus, so I encourage you all to join it. It's amazing. They really do try to take initiative and listen to student voices, so I 100% recommend.
All right. Aiden?
I'm gonna have to say CCIE senators. We actually had a random email that we got, and it was the longest email ever from a person that we didn't know what it was. But I'm gonna give a little bit more to Ms. Chair Dallas over here, who stepped up and gave a 3-minute voice note explaining the entire thing to us. And literally and also unfortunately our deeming got canceled and got moved again, but it gives us more time to write these initiatives and build a stronger one, so we come up there more prepared. So, but we be doing our thing. I'm glad we have a new one too right here. I can't wait to see what you get to do with us and see how the powerhouse of CCIE is.
All right, Adam.
Just some quick mass shout outs. CRT, CCIE, and Richmond. You guys are great.
All right. Yeah, Ariana.
My weekly shout out to Vice Chair Fintel. I will message her on Teams at the most random time, and she will always answer me with anything we have going on. So she's very hardworking.
All right, Jonathan.
I guess I'll make the first thing I say on this floor a huge shout out to everybody in the Senate for supporting us new senators. I know I was really nervous on that pedestal, and I just want to thank you all for supporting us, and I know I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
You did great. We love nervousness. Ethan.
Yeah, take him at his word for that. The nerves do get to you, but you did fantastic out there. Actually, that does transition to the fact that I wanted to shout out the new senators for jobs well done up on that podium. As somebody who went up there myself 2 years ago, it's still terrifying to go up there. I also wanted to shout out, of course, a Gap, because I think I need any more explanation, but I also want to shout I'm out in particular because we had a very, very deep meeting and discussion about how to go from here, and I could not have been more proud of just how involved and how passionate the committee was. So kudos to all of you, and I cannot wait to see where we can go from here. Shout out to ORS as well. I don't think I really need to explain any further. We have 30-page agendas. It's mad. So, and the fact that we're able to get it all condensed in 2 hours, I'm always shocked, and my fingers always die at the end, but that's beside the point. And then, of course, I want to shout out the Budget Committee senators because we're about to go into a very fun time, to say the least. That is all.
All right, Danny.
I also want to shout out Vice Chair Fintel because all the communication I've had with her about KXR, literally at the randomest times, I just teamed her during this meeting about a question for KXR. So I just want to shout her out because she's so quick with her communication with me and with them.
Isn't it so nice? Because Teams makes it all so easy to communicate. Okay, sorry. All right, any other, Nico?
All right, I also forgot to thank Vice Chair Fontel as well. We had a very productive meeting today, earlier this afternoon, where I was super nervous before an interview, but we still had a productive yet brief meeting. So thank you for that.
All right, Ariel.
Hello. Hello. Okay. I want to shout out Black Caucus as always. For sticking beside me. Y'all are so sweet. Honestly, it was so great to know that they were actually waiting on me this morning. Breath of fresh air. CCIU, of course, they always do the thing. I might have sent a 3-minute voicemail, but I like to thank Aiden for drawing it to my attention because I was not looking at my email, and it was a Saturday morning. Let me emphasize that. For leadership, like y'all are doing your thing. Like y'all move in silence, but y'all move in like great absolute silence because it's like I know what y'all be doing because we all are on the same wavelengths. So y'all are doing great. And those who are not on leadership, you guys are doing equally as great because they depend on y'all for their greatness. And that means their support system is amazing. So thank y'all for being y'all.
All right. If there's none others, I'll let you go to.
Hello, everyone. Great meeting. To the new senators, I'm Neda. I already introduced myself, but once again, I'm the graduate assistant. Today, I'm like out of it. I had to take the Casper exam. If any of you are applying to med school, like, ugh. Anyways, we have a movie night on Monday. Woo woo! It's gonna be so lit. Be here or be square. It's gonna be in the Chambers, 6:30, Monday, October 16th. And I think we decided on Nightmare Before Christmas or Halloween Town. Should we do like a poll really quick? Raise your hand for Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, wow. Okay. Raise your hand for Halloween Town. I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas just won. So I guess that's the, let me put it in the agenda.
Viva voce, please.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay. You're okay, no worries. There will be snacks, lots of fun stuff. It'll be a fun bonding experience.
Neda, I have a really good question.
What's up, Maddie?
Can we wear costumes?
Of course we can wear costumes. That will be so exciting. I'll send out a reminder. Wear a costume if comfortable. I know I spelled that wrong. But yeah, if you ever need anything from me, I'm here to do a one-on-one with you, or we can do just meeting with the advisors. If you want to just ask us questions, feel free to email me. I'm here for you always. On to Maddie.
Hello. Keep sending me your minutes. I dropped my email there. You're doing a good job. Some of you, I think there should be more minutes, but that's not my job. Great job with debate tonight. It was respectful, and I liked that. And Aiden didn't slam the hammer, so my ears don't hurt. And go to Netta's events because they're going to be super awesome and cool, and we're there, and we're,
And if they don't go, I will cry.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't want to put that in again, but she will cry, and then I will cry, and then Brody will probably laugh or something.
All right. Are there any questions for the advisors? Seeing none. Okay. Miscellaneous business, reinstatements, none. Elections. Is there a motion to open elections for CRT?
So moved.
Is there a motion to open nominations for CRT?
So moved.
Is there a motion to nominate Senator Conti to CRT?
So moved.
Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
All those. Is there a motion to vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against. All those abstaining. Congratulations, Senator Conti. Appointments. I hereby appoint Senator Torres Disqua. I almost had it. Senator Torres Disqua to SBA. Okay. Resignations. I'm so sorry to my APIA and LGBTQ plus caucuses. I will have to resign because my schedule has been getting so packed, but I do read your minutes every time, and just, you have my number. If you need anything, let me know. So I hereby resign myself and Vice Chair Sandlin from the Disability Caucus. I hereby resign Senator Yera from the Latin Hispanic Caucus. I hereby resign myself from both the APIA and LGBTQ plus caucuses. Oh, Samilo?
My computer is not working. Can you add me to Disability Caucus?
Yes. Is there a motion? I mean, not a motion. I hereby appoint Chair Samilo to the Disability Caucus. Thank you. Oh, are there any new senators that'd like to join caucuses? Disqua?
I like to join the Hispanic Latino Caucus.
Okay. Torres. And do you want me to say your whole entire last name or just the last part?
Just say Torres.
Okay, Torres, got it. Thank you. I'm sorry. It takes me a moment though. Like eventually I get it, So, if you want to give me a chance in like a month, I can do it.
Thank you.
So anyone else? Oh, wait. Yes, Senator Conti.
The Veteran Caucus.
Okay. Oh, I remember you said that. All right. I hereby appoint Senator Torres to the Latin Hispanic Caucus and Conti to the military. Yeah, it's okay. Military and Veterans Caucus. Is there anyone else? Okay. Final roll call, Vice Chair Sandlin. Wait, sorry. Motion. Ooh, you almost had me. You almost, but you didn't. So. Huh? Oh, drip down. I'm so sorry. I basically was saying your fits aren't worth it, but who am I?
My favorite part. Oh my God. Wait, I already made my list. I'll put you. I have my list in my mind. I'll do an honorable mention for Maddie. I just saw the fit, but it looks awesome. Andrea, who looks so cute today. I love it. And then Danny with the stunning heels. They're like 5 inches tall. Oh my God. I don't know how you do it. In third place, we have Michael with the scarf. If you want to give us a twirl. Second place goes to Ethan. Turtleneck, a black suit. Come on, give us a twirl. And then in first place, I've been meaning to give it to him every week, and every week I forget. But Jason Whitson, he got the nice drip on.
I feel like I've given it to you. Oh. Y'all hate me so bad. Y'all are just trolling me. Like you are, and I don't like it. I'm about to cry.
What if we could let a new senator do it?
What
What if we
happened?
could let a new senator do it?
A new senator. Okay, Polaris squared.
Motion to adjourn pending roll call.
Congratulations. There's been a motion to adjourn pending final. I love you all equally. There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Good sports. Vice Chair Sandlin.
Senator Lazo, absent. Senator Herrera,
Here.
Senator Trainer, absent. Vice Chair Neighbor Cruzat,
Present.
Chair Kana,
Present.
D-Leg Morissette,
Present.
Chair Temple,
Good evening.
Chair Vaughan,
Present.
Senator Polera of CCIE,
Present.
Vice Chair Karingal,
Present.
Chair Dallas,
Present.
Sergeant at Arms DeCara,
Present.
Chair Butler,
Present.
Chair Campbell,
Alive.
Senator Conti,
Here.
Senator Lazier, Vice Chair Fintel,
Present.
Chair Hamid,
Present.
Senator Rose,
Present.
Senator Whitson,
Here.
Senator Yera,
Here.
Senator Quiroga,
Here.
Chair Carter,
Present.
Senator Brown,
Present.
Chair Samillo,
Present.
Senator Hamayoun,
Present.
Senator Nadella,
Present.
Chair Patel,
Here.
Chair Yalamanchili, absent. Senator Luthra, Senator Acosta, Chair Borges, Senator Hashmi,
Present.
Vice Chair Duke,
Present.
Senator Torres Disqua,
Present.
Speaker Holmes,
Present.
Senator Donahue,
Present.
Senator Costas,
Here.
Senator Lacasse,
Present.
Vice Chair Polera,
Present.
Senator Federico,
Present.
ILA Pullman,
Present.
ELA Richmond.
Present.
I'm here. Senator or Vice Chair Vasquez,
Present.
Senator Kairos Rivera, Pro Temp DeMarla,
Here.
Deezer Matal.
Present.
With a count of 41 out of 48, quorum is verified.
I hereby adjourn this meeting at 11:03 p.m.